GamerLK Clans League of Legends League, also known as GCLL Season 4. I'll be your caster for today. My name is Azman Dakro Khan and with me is Shera. So Shera, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm actually doing quite well because I just recovered from what you are currently having. So that's a little bit. But anyway, coming into the Pro League of the matches, actually the whole run through of the Pro League has actually been very exciting. And then we just saw the conclusion of the upper bracket finals a few days ago, which was, I think you yourself enjoyed that game as well.
Definitely,
so I definitely enjoyed it. And with that, we'll be going into today's game where we'll be seeing PnX Lanka Lions taking on PnX Red, which is two teams you know quite well and two teams that know each other quite well. So it's going to be the lower bracket finals or the semi-finals if you'd like to call it that. But it's going to be a very interesting game for sure. So since you do know more about the two teams, Shera, who do you think is going to come out on top today?
Oh, I definitely.
I'm putting you on the spot.
You're really putting me on the spot right now. I mean, part of the reason is like, I really want to see Red pull this game off, but you know, it's gonna be exciting and it's just a lot to get into right now, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I think with the current situation as it is, we just call it that right now. I mean, with the current situation as it is,
a lot of drama going around.
So with that, I think everyone wants an underdog story, and that's the kind of story that people really want to get behind because then that gives them that confidence to kind of put themselves out there as well and try to get better because if one person can do it, that's where the next person can do it as well, and then it just comes with it's like a human mentality kind of.
And that is what FaZe also represented in the upper bracket finals. Just them coming out in the top. And yeah, with that being said, we will not waste any time and we will get into the pick and ban phase. And we see from the side of PnX Lanka Lions, they have banned out the Rumble, the Echo and the Annie. And we see on the side of PnX Red, they have banned out the Malzahar, the Caitlyn and the Vladimir. And we see Mordekaiser coming in. Mordekaiser is actually pretty strong right now. He's annoying to deal with, so that is that's actually a good pick going in the side of Lanka Lions right there.
I mean, it's a very strong opening pick, and it's always very difficult to deal with. I mean, if you're maybe a range hero, range champion, it's always much easier to kind of deal with Mordekaiser because that way it's very difficult for him to actually proc that passive skill of his and get that additional damage. Because when you're a melee hero and you try to trade with Mordekaiser, it just ends up so bad for you just because hits you 3 times, he gets the passive, and obviously his Q does so much damage. So it's actually quite difficult to deal with, and with that, looks like on the side of Red, they're going to be picking up Leona as well as Morgana.
Yeah, that's right. That's like a full heavy CC comp right there, and they've also got the Morgana shield. I think the Morgana shield actually counters the Mordekaiser ultimate, so that is actually also very good for the side of PnX Red right there.
Definitely, but it'll come down to execution. I mean, Mordekaiser's ult is so fast. It's like okay, we're going to the next realm. So if she doesn't react in that little time period that she does have, it's going to be quite difficult. And with that, they're going to pick up Ezreal as their ADC looks like.
I haven't seen a lot of games Nightmare playing Ezreal, so this is a first. And it's definitely going to be exciting as to what he will pull off this game. We see Ashe picking up the Syndra over there, so that is one of those picks which Ashe is really comfortable in, and he's definitely playing to his strengths. Let's say that.
And especially with Syndra being that very high damage, and just like you can take one person out of the fight really fast because the ultimate does so much damage, and if you get that stun off followed by your with the E, I mean you can do so much damage with it, and it's always good setup for whoever you have. So in this case, you can always set up for the Ezreal to get that link onto you, and then get that bonus damage as well. So many ways you can kind of set it up. And with that, looks like Xayah is going to be the ADC for the side of Red, and that is going to be very interesting. And Xayah I've seen Sri Lankan players actually pick up Xayah quite often, and I think most of the games that you and me did cast, we did see either a Vayne or a Xayah. So it was a very interesting take, and usually those teams did manage to end up winning in the end. So we'll see how these games go. It is a best of 3, so the first team to get 2 wins is going to be moving on to face off against NA FaZe. Get it? Face off against NA FaZe. Sorry guys, them puns I know. But with that, it's going to be interesting to see who kind of goes through. And this match itself, I think there's a lot of hype built around it.
Definitely, yeah.
With that, it looks like Tarek was banned out. Just super annoying. I mean, you don't really want to deal with him with all that, annoying.
That ultimate is the most annoying part, yeah. Everyone gets invulnerable, and we see on the side of PnX Red, they did ban out the Sejuani, and on the side of Lanka Lions, they did ban out the Swain. They're targeting at their top laner, and a Hecarim ban going out towards the jungler.
I mean, Hikarim is just, he can get on top of you so fast, and if you are not, if you don't have really fast reaction speeds, it makes it kind of difficult to kind of deal with him as well. Unless you're 100% confident, then you can take that, 2-on-1 in
We
that
see
top
a
lane.
Nocturne coming in right there, pretty slick on the side of PnX Red. Let's see what they will be able to do. I'm still trying to figure out their PnX Red, their team composition. It's gonna definitely take me a minute, but
yeah, I feel like the Morgana might be mid. I feel like it'll be a mid Morgana, and then the Leona will be playing like this support role.
Morgana mid currently is actually strong. It's something which their mid lane has been playing so much. So let's see how it goes out for them. And we see their support on the side of Lanka Lions picking out that Nautilus. So I mean, one of the reasons is that, okay, they've got a Morgana mid and Leona is actually the support. So in terms of the bot lane, I think Lanka Lions should be able to manage their bot lane, as long as they just farm and just wait for that mid to late game and they can just do their work right there.
Or if the Leona uses up her abilities and gives them a little bit of opening, and with that we have actually gotten
Garen right now, yeah.
So very interesting comps coming out from both these teams. So given just the draft that we see right here, Shera, who are you favoring right now?
All right, in terms of the draft, I must say that on the side of Lanka Lions, they've got like an edge. Right, because I'm just trying to figure out how to put this Garen together and how it's going to work in their team composition. So, yeah, that's where we're at right now.
I feel like just looking at it, I mean, from my point of view, I mean, it looks like Lanka Lions has kind of picked up everything that they need to kind of deal with the champions that have been picked up by Red, and Red have just gone with like certain comfort picks and heroes that have champions that have worked for them.
Yeah.
And that's what it kind of feels like to me from what from what you've given me as well, because we know that Garen is going to be in the top lane and probably going to be facing off against the Mordekaiser.
Yeah.
So once again, I feel like if the Mordekaiser plays it properly, he will have an advantage. But Garen, obviously, once he gets a few items, that mid game, late game, Garen is very intimidating. Like you said, that's probably why they wanted. Maybe they're playing for that kind of a time period, maybe for that mid to late game.
Yeah.
But if Lanka Lions gets off to a very good early game start, I feel like that might not be in the plans or the works for them.
I mean, we're definitely going to have to see how the game will go, but until then, definitely stay tuned in. I mean, before the game even started, they're on the side of PnX Red, their support actually, Dew, he was talking about how he's going to, destroy Lanka Lions. He's going to do all sorts of things to them, so we're definitely going to have to see what he brings to the table right here.
Yeah, definitely. I think, that kind of brings that little bit of excitement.
Yeah, definitely.
And especially when it's two teams who have played against each other so many times, even practice against each other.
Yeah.
So, that kind of, have that little bit of a banter that makes the games, really fun. So let's see whether it's it's going to actually happen, or whether we'll have to wait and see whether we have to be humble. But anyway, it is a best of 3, so he does have. At maximum, he has 3 chances. So he has actually quite a few chances, because usually when people say they only get 1 chance, but in this case he has 3. So we have to wait and see on how the execution kind of goes in. But with that, we always have to thank our sponsors as well. So we have our digital banking partners, Freeme, who have made cashback offers, as well as using any sort of transfers or debit card online so much easier. And then we have Pereira & Sons, our official food partner. Obviously everyone here probably in Sri Lanka definitely knows what a Pereira & Sons is. When you say PNS, go grab a nice coffee, grab a nice, grab a nice bite to eat. And then with that, we have MSI, a very world-renowned brand for gaming peripherals, as well as laptops, as anything to do with gaming, they have it. It's so much amazing things. So without them, we wouldn't be having all of this amazing production value, as well as just being able to have events like these in general.
So now I have to pass the question on to you. Who do you think is going to be able to take this victory?
I feel like it comes down to...
Okay, we'll just see, looking from this game, we'll just judge this game. Who do you think is going to come out on the top?
Alright, so I'm going to base my my answer based on a few things. So one is the fact that Lanka Lions currently, they lost their upper bracket game.
Yeah.
So usually when you're coming off a back of a loss and you're a really good team, because Lanka Lions by no means is a bad team.
Yeah.
They're a really great team.
Yeah.
So that kind of, so the mentality that usually is there when you're at the top spot for so long is that, okay, we're just going to play our game, we're going to eventually end up winning everything, there's no one to really kind of, put pressure on us. But then after you lose, you kind of wake up from that situation, and then suddenly you're like, okay, we're going to turn on, the try hard mode. We're going to, start playing seriously. We're going to take every game seriously. We're going to keep going 100%. Because usually, you know, top tier teams, when they are playing against teams that they know that they can beat, they usually just go easy. They have like these very, you know, very unusual picks. Like, if, for example, you know, if you take Dota, you pick up like a Meepo or something just because you're that confident. But now they've kind of come back down to earth, and they're, you know, in that situation where they need to prove themselves.
Okay.
Because, you know, they've been dethroned. Is what it feels like, right? With everything that's going on. So because of that, you know, they feel like they have a lot to prove. So unless Red has an even bigger drive to actually beat Lanka Lions, I feel like, you know, especially with that comp that we saw right there itself, I feel like they'll probably be gunning to end this game really fast and just, you know, seal the deal and get their rematch against NFAs. And I think they have a huge amount of drive pushing them to actually get that done.
And I think a lot of people are expecting a lot from Lanka Lions. You know, now that, you know, there's been a lot of drama between them, and, you know, one of the greatest things about Lanka Lions is that they've also managed to, you know, grab a coach for themselves. You know, that's like a big deal right there. You know, so when you have like a coach, you're supposed to, you know, people expect you to perform on a level, you know, which is unexpected, right? And so that is definitely not what we expected when they played against FaZe in the upper finals. So we will definitely have to see what they will pull off in this lower bracket finals right here.
Yeah, but when coming to that, one thing that people always need to kind of understand is the fact that it takes time to adapt to new things, because you're used to doing like, okay, so previously it's just you 5, right? You just have the 5 people in your team, maybe an extra player as a sub, or maybe 2 extra players as subs, and then, you know, you play with each other. You kind of shift around everyone. You have, you know, certain comps that you pick up from watching professional games, or you have certain ideas like, okay, this guy is really good, or this guy is really good, or you have someone who specifically analyzes a patch, and then you know, you guys yourself kind of pick heroes that you guys are comfortable with, and you start playing those, and, you know, try to incorporate them into your drafts. But then when you have someone else coming in and they're like giving them your input, then you're kind of change the way you do things, and that can also have an, you know, adverse effect, you know, impact. So it takes time to get used to it. So certain teams, they can adapt to any situation. It just happens because if you have a hero pool where you can play everyone, then it's like, you know, okay, I know we can do this. But when you don't have that capability, because, you know, most of us, we tend to like pick up maybe 3 or 4, maybe maximum 5 champions that we really like out of the pool, and we practice them like crazy. So when someone comes and says, okay, this guy is really good, you should play him, and then suddenly, you know, you're playing in an actual match where it matters whether you win or lose, and you actually come out on, you know, loss because you can't, you know, bring out the full potential of that champion pick, then it becomes a little bit of a problem. So those things, you know, adapt into it. There's so many outside variants that people kind of need to understand that are kind of going on. So as long as they can overcome that, I feel like, you know, they can only move forward. That's the best part, right? Because right now, with that, so many people had so much expectations, right?
Yeah.
And now suddenly it has just dropped to 0 because of that one loss. So now they have nothing to lose. So if you look at it that way, they have so much to gain.
And it looks like we are about to get underway with the first match for the losers bracket.
So with that, we actually have a very beautiful view of the mid lane, I believe, and with that, we're getting into the the lower bracket finals.
Yes.
Very red here.
1 minute into the game right now, and we do see Lanka Lions. I mean, they're just being on the defensive side. Nobody's taking any actions, but we do see Lanka Lions trying to get a gank off.
And very early invade here. Nocturne might actually be able to spot it out.
Yep. Oh, they know that this invade is happening, and they're trying to chase down that Nocturne, and Nocturne's just trying to queue away from there.
It looks like he's going to be able to make it out, but they'll have to respect this movement coming in, and they might actually have to give up this red buff here.
Yeah, that's an early invade. I mean, that's a late invade coming from the side of Lanka Lions, but everybody on the side of PnX Red is moving towards there, and they have to back off and respect that, and that's a lot of time wasted for the side of Lanka Lions right there.
I think, you know, with the response coming out from PnX Red as well, I think both teams don't really lose too much. Even the bot lane doesn't really lose too much because they are just ready to kind of start last hitting these creeps and just do, you know, trading a decent amount of damage. So you can see the Ezreal actually doing a decent amount of damage to the Zaya here. And he needs to be a little bit careful, but actually no one lost anything from that because both the mid laners got back at the same time. And now we can see, you know, the top lane is the only one that's kind of, you know, Garen is kind of chilling. And I feel really bad for the Nocturne because he wasn't able to get that leash from the Garen there, and he had to kind of just, you know, go for an alternate route right there, and that is going to affect the speed that he kind of clears up this jungle, while it doesn't really affect the Shen because the Mordekaiser actually came all the way back, and the Garen is actually pushing the lane towards him as well. So he's super happy with this.
I must say that the bot lane on the side of Lanka Lions is actually doing a very good job, you know, just positioning themselves and trying to, you know, get all those minions right there. So doing a good job early on towards the bot side on the side of Lanka
Even in the
Lions.
mid lane, I mean, Ashe is doing a really good job of just kind of poking out the Morgana more than the Morgana actually just, doing damage to to Ashe. So it's a little bit, interesting, but, with that, it's going to come out to the match, and who's going to be the first person to make that mistake.
Yeah.
Because one kill can always change, especially with players who know what they're doing and how they know how to push the boundaries of their champion.
Ooh, we see a little fight happening over at the top side, but nothing much. Mordekaiser just takes a little bit of damage, and Garen backs off with just about full health right there. And we see Xin Zhao getting that red buff, and Nocturne has cleared up his jungle already. That's that start, that's our early start which the Nocturne got, and we see Nocturne heading towards bot side, trying to maybe get a pick right here.
Yeah, but the Shin is around as well, so I don't think they win this fight because, like we said, right now the Nocturne is behind in terms of how the jungle camps that he has done.
Oh, this is actually dangerous right here, and Nocturne just flashes away. Ezreal just comes in with that.
Oh, unfortunately, couldn't get the smite there on the start.
We see the Xin Zhao right now trying to fight, and it's just chaos all over the place. I think the Ezreal and the Nautilus just, went in for that Nocturne. I don't think the Nocturne was expecting that flash right there, and wow, that is something, because I think they just predicted where the Nocturne was going to be right there.
Yeah, I mean, they
necessarily didn't have vision on that Nocturne. They just went in there over to the frogs and the toad or whatever you call it, and then because was there a vision? That's my question. Oh yeah, they actually did have vision over at the.
Yeah, I don't think they would commit flashes. I mean, that would have been one hell of a prediction flash, to try and get that. But I think they might have had vision. But with that,
that was a good rotation coming from the side of Lanka Lions right there.
Yeah, but right now I feel really bad for the Nocturne, because I feel like he's getting really bullied in this game right here, because he's currently 16 CS in terms of Shen's 24, and he's now
Xin Zhao.
Sorry, Xin Zhao. I don't know why I keep missing up the
names,
but either way,
okay.
so Xin Zhao managing to get 24 CS right there. So he actually has quite a significant lead over the Nocturne right now, and that kind of like you guys say in League of Legends, the better jungler wins.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, he can always come back. All just needs there is some really good rotations coming in, and now the bot lane, they've actually burned their flashes going on him as well. So that also kind of works both ways and gives him an opportunity to kind of put pressure on that bot lane, but only if they kind of put themselves in a very dangerous spot. But the thing I love about how Lanka Lions is making all these movements is, Shara, that every time they go for this aggressive play, it's always when the lane is pushing towards them. So when they come back, they don't really lose too much. And now
we see a fight happening between the two top laners. And alright, we see a flash coming in by the Mordekaiser and securing that kill on the Garen. That's first blood going over to the side of Lanka Lions. A good play by them, and we see the Leona going super aggressive on Ezreal and not being able to get anything. Ezreal just arcane shifts away and gets back to safety.
For once, we actually got a top lane where we saw some action.
I know, right? And we see the Nocturne coming towards the top side, using that fear. We see the Garen using his teleport, but I think they will be able to secure this kill on this Mordekaiser right now. Can they do it? Oh, and they secures the kill right there.
So immediately it looks like the Garen is going to be able to get the kill on the Mordekaiser, and that is going to give him a decent amount of security in that lane, because he is leading in terms of CS.
We see the bot lane right now waiting, and they're just trying to get the pick on that Ezreal. Can they? Oh, Leona burns up her flash, but they are trying to re-engage on that Leona, and Ezreal just has to flash away because he's super low right now. Can he get the kill? And he does get the kill on towards that Leona. So
beautiful play from Ezreal there. Just understanding his limits and how much damage he can take.
Yeah, and this Zaya is super low, and she's just trying to deal with this heavy tanky Nautilus, and I think that kill is going to go over to the side of Lanka Lions right there. So that's 2 kills picked up towards the bot side of Lanka Lions.
I mean, that was some really ballsy play, and just knowing how much to limit yourself in that scenario, because most people will just want to run immediately, right? They don't even want to come back. But the Ezreal came back, he started fighting the Leona, he flashed at the perfect timing, adjusting to the damage coming in from the Ignite as well, making sure, doesn't tick down too low, and just being able to stay within that, living threshold, which is like super great for him. Really works out. And now the bot lane actually getting 2 kills, and now pressure on the side of PnX Red.
That's right. I think what they did right there at the bot lane was, super aggressive. They went in a little, very questionable move right there on the side of PnX Red. A beautiful stun coming in by the Syndra. and just backs off, pokes a little bit, and just backs off, gets back to safety. I mean, as we see, you know, in terms of the mid difference, the CS difference, you see Syndra with 51 CS, the Morgana with 39. Syndra is definitely in a comfortable spot at this position.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at this point, it's going to be so easy for her to kind of just zone out the Morgana. I mean, sure, Morgana has a lot of tools to do damage, but then, you know, the Syndra just kind of outplays you with range, especially with the stun, and then just being able to throw something at you almost immediately, and you just get so much damage off, and it's very hard to trade. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And with that, you know, the Morgana might be wanting to look for a few rotations here and there, maybe try to...
Ooh, we see the Xin Zhao coming right now, but he's not going to be able to do anything. He's just trying to get the scuttle, and we see the Nocturne going towards the side of the Lanka Lions jungle, trying to get something out of there.
Will he be able to do it is the question, though. I don't think he gets too much out of it. I think he was already cleared.
I think he's getting the blue buff right there.
Yeah,
he is getting the blue buff.
So definitely worth it for him.
Yeah.
So
a good pick right there.
A little bit of payback for the early game.
And just recalling back to safety, you know, acting like nothing's happened. Oh, and Syndra and Xin Zhao are moving towards the blue side, thinking that they could get blue, but you know, they don't know that Nocturne has stolen their blue.
Well, they'll find out eventually.
They're going to right now.
Ash, you know, go back to your lane. Blue is not here. I think I took it by accident. Very unfortunate there, but now the bot lane has kind of just quietened down, and you know, especially after getting those kills, you feel like maybe they'd want to add more pressure, but right now they're just happy to kind of sit back and, you know, pick up more items on both the sides. And with that, looks like SGL has actually picked up his Sheen as well, so he'll be doing a decent amount of damage, especially in that initial few casts that he uses.
Yeah.
Xayah right now only with the call for his hammer. It's going to give him a little bit of health, a little bit of you know, a cooldown reduction, but you know, right now nowhere near where she wants to be, at least at this point in the game.
And we see 8 minutes into the game, we see about a 1,500 gold difference, and that's going, the favor is going towards the side of PnX Lanka Lions, so it's looking good for them. So far, you know, nothing too, you know, like game-changing, game-deciding sort of plays. You know, PnX Red can still come back into this game. They just have to, you know, play methodically, just not, you know...
Oh, beautiful stand there.
Yeah, just not, you know, go super ham and just, you know, play it methodically and play it smart right there. And make sure, you know, to have vision, because what I see on the side of Lanka Lions is that they ward the enemy, the bot lane. As we can see, we see some wards over there towards PnX Red, their blue side, so they definitely have vision. You know, they try and keep eyes on the Nocturne where he is, because the Nocturne ultimate is definitely a kicker. You always want to know where the Nocturne is coming from, because he has really long range on that ultimate as well. So it's definitely good to know where the Nocturne is going to be coming
another beautiful stun in the mid lane here.
Oh, looks like Ash is trying to commit, but Morgana just flashes away, having to respect that Syndra, because there was a moment when that Syndra could have, you know, definitely killed that Morgana off right there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's always scary, right? Because Syndra's ultimate just does so much damage, and you don't really want to deal with it. And you know, when you're a player who knows the limits of not just your hero, but the limits of other champions as well, that makes it so difficult for you, because you know exactly what they can do, and they can always play mind games with you. But with that, once again, you can see the Nocturne getting bullied. But I think that flash was the right decision, because he does not want to end up giving Lanka Lions an even bigger lane, because right now the top lane is kind of even, but the Mordekaiser, we know, has a decent chance of actually 1v1 against the Garen.
I mean, all of the side, like on Lanka Lions, they're at the bot side right now. Even their top laner is at the bottom side, and Garen is all to himself right now. He's just, you know, happily just farming away, not doing anything, and they are gonna get that blue buff as payback, you know, for what Nocturne
they're probably gonna hand it over to Ashe here.
And they're gonna start into Dragon, because that is the right call, because you know, all 5 members of the side of Lanka Lions is at the bot side, and we see Nocturne doing an absolutely the greatest play what he can do. He's starting Rift Herald right now, trying to get that, so which is the right call, which is what he should be doing. And let's see if he can try and secure that Rift Herald. And yeah, if they can, that would be great for the side of PnX Red.
I feel like he'll be able to get it for sure.
I mean, no one knows what's happening right now, so there's no vision whatsoever. So
who gets thrown out, but unfortunately just you know, Xayah with that.
So what we see right now is that PnX Lanka Lions is really putting a lot, like, look at the wards PnX Lanka Lions has placed on the bot side of PnX Red. Like, they are really focusing towards this bot lane. They don't care about the top side as much, you know. So they're heavily focusing towards that, you know, bot side, trying to secure, trying to make them have a good game right there.
Oh, another unfortunate miss there on the hook, actually just landing on one of those range creeps.
We see Nocturne waiting towards the top side, and he's gonna place that Herald right there, I think. Yeah, he plays the Herald, and they are trying to push out top lane as soon as possible. Morgana is also gonna be rotating towards the top side, and they get the first turn. Oh, we see everybody on the side of PnX Lanka Lions focusing towards the bot side as well. We see Xayah getting the Syndra, Nautilus getting the Xayah. It's a fiesta happening right now, and we see on the side of the top lane, Mordekaiser dies also, so that is 2 kills picked up for the side of PnX Red and 1 kill picked up on the side of Lanka Lions right there.
Yeah, I mean, Ash went in and he kind of just laid everything into
I didn't
Xayah
get
there, but just that wasn't enough to build, like, kind of bring him down, and then Xayah managed to pick up the kill on the Syndra there, and then, actually overall, PnX Red actually played that
I know, like,
really
yeah,
well.
it actually went really well. I did not see what happened at the bot side, but I'm so surprised that Ash, the Syndra, actually died over there, so I'm a little skeptical as to what happened, and we see everybody coming towards the mid side on the side of Lanka Lions, and they will be able to pick up this kill on the Nocturne, and they do secure it, and that is, I mean, yeah, ADC Ezreal is sitting on 2 kills right there. He has a 200 gold bounty, and he's looking pretty good.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought Mordekaiser would have a much better time in the top lane against the Garen initially, because the early game is where you really want to kind of abuse the Garen as well, especially as Mordekaiser.
Oh, we see the Leona coming in on the Syndra right now, and Syndra has to just cleanse and flash away, and whoa, that's a
big
execution right there.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, but then again, it was 3v1, right? Like, the Syndra was trying to do her own thing by herself, so the fact that she didn't die is also good, but she burned both her sums, and that's a
little unfortunate actually. So coming back to the point I was talking about, the Garen, the moment he hits level 6, and especially with that silence, he can do so much work onto the Mordekaiser, and we saw with the help of the Nocturne and the fear, there is so much that even with his ultimate, there wasn't really too much that he could do, and there was so much pressure being put, and with that Rift Herald, they actually managed to take the top tower as well. So far, things, even though the initial early game looked like pretty bad for Lanka Lions, even though the game was kind of it seemed to be more Lanka Lions favored because the team was kind of split up. But the moment the moment PnX Red actually comes together, it actually makes their team quite strong, because there's so much control. They have the Nocturne Fear, they have the stun coming out from the Morgana, they have the Black Shield remove any CC that may come out from Lanka Lions. They have the Leona who brings so much control to the table, and Xayah just kind of just so much DPS. Hold on.
They're just waiting around, trying to see if they can get a pick. I mean, in terms of, on the side of Lanka Lions, their bot lane is looking heavy strong right now. The Ezreal with a 150 gold bounty on him, and even the Nautilus having 150 gold bounty on him. So their bot lane is looking actually pretty strong right now, and we see the Mordekaiser trying to get a gank off this bot side there. Again, like I said, heavily focusing towards his bot lane. They really want this bot tower, I feel like. And Garen's just happily pushing topside. He just doesn't care. He's also got his teleport available just in case something happens. And we also see Nocturne hovering around the bot side, trying to, make use of his ultimate if anything pops up. So, and what's happening right now is that, Mordekaiser is wasting a lot of time just trying to stay bot, not do anything. And, we see their jungler going towards the top side and just clearing all those waves. And I must say, the Morgana versus the Syndra, Ash is, a really good player, and I must respect the Morgana, he's...
Oh, the Garen actually, meanwhile in the top lane, going on to the Xin Zhao here, and he has to manage to just kind of push him away from there and make sure that he doesn't get another Q off, because if he gets one more Q off, I think he's goodbye. Very much.
And we see...
Demacia!
Yeah, they are all just pushing bot side right now. Even the Mordekaiser there is 3v3. The Nocturne is just sitting in his lane. He's just waiting for that right opportunity to come in and ult, but there's not going to be any fights happening pretty soon, so I think both teams are respecting each other. And we also see an Infernal up right now. It's pretty important that they secure this Infernal. So we will see what is going to happen. Oh, Garen takes a second tower. He's just pushing, and he just doesn't care. I mean, maybe they will be able to get this fight, because the Garen also has his teleport up. It's only a matter of time if... Oh, we see the Nocturne using his ultimate right now. Are they willing to commit on this fight?
I don't think
that is the question, and they just back away right there.
Oh, Leona gets caught out here.
Oh, beautiful Ultimate
Garen's
coming in by
in.
the Leona. The Garen is coming in. 2 kills picked up on the side of Lanka Lions. That was super late right there.
The hook.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, that is a lot of trouble right there. Okay, we also see the Morgana not really rotating towards the bot side as well because she knew it was a bad fight to pick. You know, it was not a good move from the side of PnX Red to have committed that late. You know, they used the Nocturne ultimate late, and it feels like a miscommunication as to what happened right there. And PnX Lanka Lions definitely came out on the top with 3 kills and 1 Infernal Drake as well. And they also got the bot tower for that. So that is not good for the side of PnX Red.
Yeah, I mean, it looked great, but then now suddenly, you know, I felt like the play should have been to let Garen keep pushing the top lane. Maybe Morgana connects with the rest of the team. The moment that someone actually, you know, TPs in. So here you can see the Red is already gone, and you know, Garen should just keep pushing him right now because he can be pressure. You can see the Mordecai is just going back to deal with him, but then immediately after 2 champions get taken out, that is when Garen comes in. And you know, PnX is only as strong as, you know, as when they have all 5 pieces together. If they lose 2 pieces, that means they're significantly weaker because, you know, they lose all that control that we were talking about. And that is super unfortunate because the Mordekaiser is actually going back to deal with the Garen because you don't want to lose your tier 3 tower at that point in the game.
Yeah.
So they should have probably tried to delay it as much as possible. Okay,
so the ultimate coming in by the Leona. She's just trying to go in on. It's going to be a 3v1.
I think.
Yeah, super dead. Oh, we see the ultimate coming in by the Mordecai. Can he get the kill on this Zaya right now?
One more. He gets it. 3 versus 1.
That's crazy right there. Oh, that is that annoying Mordekaiser ultimate coming in right there. You know, you can just, you know, all of a sudden 3v1, make it a 1v1 right there.
Yeah, I mean, and he managed to get that initial Q off as well. It does so much damage onto the Zaya, so he was so careful.
Ooh, Nocturne ultimate coming in right now. Is he going to ult? That is the question. He's just waiting around, but not going to be ulting. I mean, this Garen is actually looking pretty strong right now, so definitely got to respect that Garen.
This Garen, I mean, he has Black Cleaver, he's building into that, you know, Surge Gauge. He has 1 component for it for right now. He does have that, the Mithril Pike as well. So
beautiful stun.
He does have a lot of damage, but you know, right now he's that, you know, kind of forced to be careful with or reckon with right now on the side of PnX Red. And I feel like, you know, if he can manage to keep putting the split push pressure,
tongue twister right there.
Tongue twister, but you know, if he can manage to keep that pressure on in these lanes and getting certain champions to come to his lane, and you know, with the amount of CC or the crowd control that PnX Red does have, I feel like even with everything that PnX Lanka Lions currently has, they can still take that fight. But right now, you know, with the things how it is and with that previous fight, how they took it, I feel like if they keep giving opportunities like that to the side of PnX Lanka Lions, they're going to start running away with these games.
Definitely. I mean, and the crazy part is, for PnX Red, it's not over, you know. They can still come back. They just need to play the game a bit more smarter. They need to communicate better, you know. And yeah, if they can do all that, then they can definitely pull off a victory right here. And we see the Ezreal going in on the Zaya. She's super low. Can she use her ultimate? No, she doesn't have her ultimate. We see the teleport coming in by the Morgana. Can she get a Q? But no, Ezreal just arcane shifts away, and that is a teleport burn, and the Zaya also died right there.
Meanwhile, in the bot lane, the 2 top laners or the bot laners at this point are currently going at it, and now he's actually Mordekaiser.
And coming out on the top.
Yeah, I mean, Mordekaiser is fighting against the Garen, but Garen actually managed to dodge so many skills there, and it just goes to show that, you know, it seemed like Garen was in a decent position because he has 157 CS as a, you know, as opposed to the Mordekaiser with 111, but the Mordekaiser just seems to be able to bully him, you know, and if he actually hits most of those skills, I think Garen might be in a lot of trouble there.
And we see Lanka Lions is getting that top tier 1, the top side tower right there, so good on them. And we see Nocturne, I think, picking up that mid tier tower, so
yeah, right now I feel like just Lanka Lions is playing a much faster pace in terms of how they're playing the map. So we spoke about how their vision is down. You can see throughout the whole map, they actually have so much vision down, especially very deep, aggressive visions to get them those, you know, the information that they need. Keep tabs on where the Nocturne is, whether he's actually going to commit or not, and they're able to move together as a unit of 3 and, you know, get these objectives off the map and open up the map for them to play even more aggressively on their side. Because even before the towers are actually even taken down, they were playing super aggro. I mean, we saw that level 1 invade.
These guys are just waiting right now on, and I think they're trying to look for a pick right now. Can they do it is a question. We see Garen going towards the side of the bot lane. I think they're trying to, you know, click, have a bait right now going on. Ezreal has to use his flash over there. He uses his stopwatch. But can they get that Ezreal? Nocturne uses his ultimate in order to try and get the Ezreal, and the Xin Zhao goes down as well. And Mordekaiser gets the kill onto the Morgana, but oh, Garen gets a triple kill right there. That's a good pick going for the side of PnX Red right there.
I mean, we spoke about it, and that's that gold bounty we were talking about. Sure, the Nautilus doesn't go down, but that was a 300 gold bounty going towards the way of the Zaya, I believe, getting that kill onto the Ezreal. I mean, he tried to buy time with that stopwatch, but there was just not enough champions right there to kind of assist them, because the Syndra and the Nautilus were not anywhere nearby, and the Garen was able to just get free reign. You saw how much damage he did, and then the Xin Zhao also getting very low, and then just, you know, Demacia for the win. Just imagine, just deletes him from there. And then Mordekaiser does manage to get, you know, use the ultimate and bring down the Morgana, but in the end he does lose his life as well. So far, PnX Red actually takes a really good fight. Here we can see once again, just trying to buy time.
See the Garen was just trying to bait everyone in order to try and come bot, but you know, PnX Red, they were really smart. They were waiting towards that bot side. They knew that Lanka Lions was going to come towards them, and they picked up 3 kills for 1 right there.
Yeah. Demacia! I just love that. I remember I was watching this one guy, right, and he only plays Garen, and every time he uses his ult, he screams Demacia. So I've kind of gotten accustomed to it now. So every time I see the Garen, I'm like, Demacia! Someone needs to die, you know. But that is beautiful play, and this understanding coming out from PnX Red there. They laid the trap worked, and in the end, you know, the Ezreal actually just, you know, like, kill me, you know, the kind of the, I mean, obviously he didn't know,
yeah, he didn't expect that right there.
So far, looking at the kills right now, I mean, sure, you know, kills say 11 to 7, and technically in league, when you have higher kills, it means, you know, you're kind of stomping the game, or, you know, you have a significant lead. But right now, it's just 200 gold.
It's not
200 gold. That's like a few creeps.
Yeah, that's not much at all. I mean, this is definitely anybody's game at this point, you know. So, I mean, it's just all about, you know, if PnX Red can pull one of those plays, you know, what they did earlier. And if they can keep doing plays like that, and I would honestly say, you know, even playing around this Garen is such a good idea, because this Garen is super strong and just annoying to try and deal with, you know, when split pushing. And if they can just play around this Garen, you know, they'd have, you know, a really good chance at this game right now.
It depends. I mean, he's picked up everything that he needs to be that tanky frontliner, but also deal damage, especially with that Black Cleaver and its armor reduction coming in, so that, you know, that kind of gives him that extra boost every time he wants to keep attacking or hitting any sort of champion. And then, you know, he has a 400 gold bounty, by the way, on his head, which we haven't even realized. And right now, looking at the CS as well, I mean, he's 189 CS. He's the highest in the game. He just keeps on putting this split pressure, the split push pressure in the map, you know, just forcing Lanka Lions to kind of react to everything that PnX Red is doing, and that, you know, gives them that opportunity to lay traps like we saw previously. But, you know, by nowhere are they out of this game. I mean, it looked very Lanka Lions sided, but, you know, then it comes to how you execute the game and how you play on that day. It's something I tell everyone. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you play badly on that day, you are going to lose against good teams. So like we said, both these teams so far seem to be knowing, you know, just kind of, initially Lanka Lions, their movement was very unpredictable. It was kind of difficult to read on, you know, how they were going to move about and kind of do everything. But then, you know, with that, you know, they managed to see, you know, they stayed calm. That's the most important. They stayed calm. They were like, okay, guys, so far early game not that great, but we're going to start, you know, Garen, you keep doing, you know, do what you're doing. We'll try and play off you is what we're going to do. And okay, so he goes and he starts split pushing the lanes. He gets the top T1 and T2 towers in the top lane, and now he's like in the bot lane, he's chilling, you know, he's just spinning around, getting all these creeps. He's like, yeah, you know, I'm going to start killing all these creeps. And then suddenly, you know, you're like, okay, he's alone. Everyone else must be somewhere else, because obviously you have the vision for it, right? So you can kind of make that read if you have the experience for it. But then when they started moving bot, unfortunately they got the target. Actually, so unfortunately for Lanka Lions and very fortunately for the side of PnX Red, Ezreal literally just kind of jumped into them.
Yeah, because he wasn't expecting anyone to be there, and then all of a sudden, you know, he see 4 members, I think, and this class. That's it.
Yeah, just like, I mean, guys, I kind of made a mistake. And then he tried to buy time because the rest of his team was around. But it wasn't enough.
A binding coming in by the Morgana, beautiful right there. And honestly, you know, I was just gonna say, you know, props to this Morgana, because she played brilliantly, especially against, you know, Ashe, you know, one of the top tier, you know, mid laners. And we see a fight happening right now, and the Nocturne just gets destroyed, and a beautiful ultimate coming in by the Zaya just flashes away. Everyone has to flash away. Oh, and
they actually managed to get the Garen as well as the Leona there, and now they only have two more left, and Zaya actually getting ulted.
Things just turned south towards the side of PnX Red right there. All 5 of their members, except for the Morgana, just has died, and they will be super happy to try and take this Baron right now.
Yeah, I think they should be able to take it quite easily. I think it's just the fact that they couldn't commit onto one person, or they couldn't like the Nocturne led, right? The Nocturne actually led the fight right there, but when he went in, no one really followed up.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Leona stun, you have the Nocturne Fear, you have so much things to actually work around with. And the moment the Nocturne went up and kind of set it up for both the Morgana as well as the Leona, the follow-up was just not there because they don't have the they don't have the flashes, they don't have the summons first to kind of get because Nocturne moves really fast, right, when he uses his ultimate, and they weren't able to follow up, and then they immediately just turned around, they blew up the Nocturne there because they committed onto Ashe there because he actually flashed over the wall there to get into safety, and then from there everything just turned around because they focused on the Nocturne. He immediately kind of went down. The Garen was in the middle of everyone. They were actually trying to fight, and that's when they tried to get the CC down. But they were all focusing different targets. So hopefully we can get a replay of that. We'll be able to see. I mean, they weren't able to focus down the target that they wanted to, and they kind of got split up. So that gave the Syndra the cooldowns, the time for the cooldowns to come back off. She was able to get another stun off. They managed to, because we saw the Zaya as well as the Garen move forward, right? Yeah. But the Zaya and the Garen were hitting 2 different targets. And with that, then when the Mordekaiser and the rest of the team
I think the Zaya was trying to do, he was trying to cast her ultimate and then flash it forward in order to try and get, and we see the Nocturne using his ultimate right now in order to try and get a kill onto this Mordekaiser, but Mordekaiser just flashes away back to safety. Flaunts his badge, right? He flaunts his badge as well and just gets away right there, and they are just pushing through this mid lane like nobody's business. They just don't care. They've got Baron under their belt, and we see two members on the side of PnX Red, they're just by themselves, and it's just a 3v4 happening right now in the mid lane, and we see them trying to secure this kill onto this Mordekaiser. Can they get this kill right now?
I think they should be able to.
Yeah, they should be able to secure this right now. A shutdown going to the Nocturne right there, so well deserved. Oh! That Ezreal just chunked that Morgana, and just she just went from a 0 to 100 right there.
That happened so fast. I mean, that was just wow. Yeah. And like that was just Morgana's there 1 second, the next second she's gone. And what a play! And just having that understanding to know how much damage you actually do. Yeah. And this is the enemy mid champion, by the way. And by no means I think she has actually gone in for like a Ludendeko. She has a little bit of armor, but not enough to stop the Ezreal from one-shotting her. That's a very concerning sign. And we were talking about how it was just a 200. Wait, is everyone just stacked up on top of?
They're just waiting around because they've got a pink right there, and no one knows that they are there. And maybe they're trying to get a pick right now. Let's see what will happen. But so far a lot has happened for the side of PnX Red. They've lost Baron. They've lost multiple team fights right now, and PnX Lanka Lions is looking, they're at a very good spot right now.
Yeah, definitely. They're super, like we were talking about it just as the pause was there. Just a 200 goal difference.
Yeah, and then all of a
sudden we just had one fight, getting that goal bounty from the Garen. It's just and once again we have a lovely Sky Cam as well.
You don't get this in League of Legends. Only we can do this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something great to see, and with that you actually have the Baron power left as well. So just about 30 seconds left on that. So looks like they'll be probably waiting for that next opportunity to get that Baron, because right now they're feeling super strong right now, and especially when you have an Ezreal who's as strong, who's just able to kind of just delete someone from the side of PnX Red. The Morgana becomes like this. Even though she was the mid lane champion, she feels like a support right now. Yeah. And because of that, it always puts a little bit of concern, right? Because if he gets out of position even a little bit, the Ezreal just deletes you. And because Ezreal has so much movement speed, and meanwhile now in the top lane, the Mordekaiser and the Garen kind of going at it.
The Nocturne is trying to commit, but he has to recall because what's happening towards the bot side. Okay, Mordekaiser uses the ultimate, trying to clear up this. And picks up the kill right there. And Nocturne is coming in right now. Can he get the kill on the
Mordekaiser? Yes, he can. But I mean, that is actually quite close. You get a few more items maybe on the Mordekaiser.
We see a 4v3 happening right now towards the bot side, and they are just pushing through. But the Zaya is there with her, wave clear, and she'll be able to clear the wave, just fine until Nocturne
but they've done a decent amount of poke damage right now onto the Ezreal, but this time he doesn't have that flash, so Morgana can't be really surprised, and you can see her sitting all the way in the back right there, making sure that she's outside of Ezreal's range, but just within range to kind of poke them and make sure, kind of try to dissuade them from going in.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot of damage coming in from the teams right now, but I think the only person who's actually doing a decent amount of damage to the tower is the Ezreal, because he does have the range.
Yeah.
So no one else really wants to commit, and with the once again the Mordekaiser going down in the top lane, I mean, it gives you a chance for the Nocturne to come back and make it a 4 versus 4. They did lose the Garen, who seemed to be very, very strong throughout the game, but right now, he's not looking great. He has picked up an Executioner as well as a I believe it's what's the lifesteal item called? I can't remember.
Vampiric Scepter.
Vampiric Scepter, yes. That.
Yeah.
Because I only know that you have to pick it up to make a death stance. So
I mean, I think Lanka Lions is playing this, super patient. They're taking it really slow. They're not, heavily committing to it. Even when we saw the bot lane push, they're taking it super slow and playing it methodically right now.
I mean, that's what we were talking about before the game, right? So when you're at the position where Lanka Lions is right now, especially off the back of what just happened in that previous game that they played, they're going to be playing like this. They're going to be playing as if you are the next best team to them, or you're even in terms of skill levels against them, and they're going to give you that respect. They're going to play the most professional, most disciplined League of Legends games that you're going to see, and that's exactly what we're getting from them right now.
Yeah.
We saw some very unusual players, we saw some very aggressive movement, we saw very good aggressive vision being put down, and right now, they're in the driver's seat, they're dictating the pace. They know, okay, all we need to do is just wait for the next Baron, wait for the next Dragon, we pick that up, and right now they have, an Infernal, they have Cloud, and they have
Ocean.
Exactly. So they have three dragons.
Yeah.
They can wait for the Baron. They know that it's very difficult for PnX Red to kind of contest.
Yeah.
And with that, Baron has respawned. So let's see. This fight is going to be the do or die fight. If Red comes out on top, it's going to be a comeback. If Lanka Lions win this, it might be just game over.
Yeah, they definitely have to commit to this Baron right now. They cannot afford to lose one of their members and lose this Baron. Otherwise, it's gonna be even bad for PnX Red right there. And we see the two top laners, at the bot side, just chilling, doing their thing. I think both of them have teleports, so no need to worry. They're just, waiting for a teleport to happen. But right now it's just 4v4 towards the top side. They're just playing around this Baron, just trying to get something. And PnX Lanka Lions is beautiful pick coming for the side of Lanka Lions, and they do get that pick center with a beautiful stun right there. And we also see the teleport coming in from both members. Garen is right there, moving his way over there, trying to kill that Ezreal, but unable to. He just backs off, and they get that AD carry, and Mordekaiser has used his ultimate on the Garen. Can he get away? The Leona just dies, and everybody's on this Garen right now, and nobody cares. They will be able to pick up this kill on this Garen as well, and that would mean a Baron going towards the side of Lanka Lions.
So what a beautiful engage coming in from Ashe there. What a beautiful stun into that top.
That's amazing right there, yeah. That is some high level play. They placed the wards. They knew they were going to come to clear the wards. I think they're going to try and go for an end. I'm not quite sure, but we will see what will happen.
They might be able to, because, I mean, it comes down to our positioning, and I think at this point you just kind of want to get back, and like we said, they're going to play as disciplined as possible. So going back for Baron right now would be the most optimal and smart play that they can do, because they do have 3 up. They've used all their abilities. I mean, Syndra used the ultimate in the top lane to bring down the Morgana, and then we saw Mordekaiser use his ultimate as well. So here we see the replay just after that 3-man engage coming in from Syndra right there, and now we can see the flash also. So much mobility coming in from the Azazel.
Oh, these guys are going to go back into it again. Wait, that's Xayah dead to a second. Okay, so what happened was, I think they were waiting around again in order to try and bait out PnX Red. And they exactly managed to do that. They pick up the Xayah again, and this time they're just going to start Baron. They just don't care. Nocturne is waiting on the side. He's hoping to try and get a, he's try and steal this Baron. Can he do it? Nope, he cannot, and he just backs away, having to respect PnX Lanka Lions right there.
Did you just see, I saw the Nautilus hook Xayah, then the stun came out, and then there was a Mordekaiser Q, and then there was no Xayah.
Oh man, they are going to go for the second Infernal as well.
Yeah,
so
this is huge.
2 Infernals for the side of, Lanka Lions. That is not good, You really don't want to. 1 Infernal, okay, right? But when you have 2 Infernals, man, that's like a stab in the heart right there. You really don't want that.
I mean, I feel like this is going to be, we're just going to run at you kind of moments, you know? Because they can always go into the mid lane as well. They can push in the mid lane while they're pushing in the bot lane.
Yeah.
And then they can always converge on the side of PnX Red. If they're not careful, I mean, and if they get that wraparound, they can always burst someone down because the Xayah right now is super vulnerable. The Morgana is super vulnerable. I think the Garen is the only one who can take a little bit of damage. Yeah. But if he gets taken out by the Mordekaiser, because Mordekaiser is strong enough to 1v1 against the Garen right now, and you can take the Garen out, and the rest of your team is just way better 4v4 against the side of PnX Red. I mean, you take out the Garen, that's probably the, you know, one of the saving graces as we were talking about, you know, because he has so many decent items, and, you know, he's even built into a decent amount of armor. He has picked up mercs as well, you know, to kind of mitigate the magic damage coming in as well. But, you know, right now, I feel like Lanka Lions in the driver's seat. They're ready to, you know, close out this game. 8,000 lead in terms of net worth right now. So this went from a 200 goal difference to an 8,000 goal difference in a blink of an eye, Shera. And, you know, I feel like they have 1 minute and 53 seconds right now to kind of close out this game. They can always, you know, bait the timer on this Baron, or they might wait for PnX Red or someone to step out of the base. But right now you can see all 5 of them are just too busy dealing with these super minions.
Now, one of the things is, you know, when I look at PnX Red and their composition is that Nocturne hasn't been able to get...
Oh, they might actually get the pick here in the jungle.
Oh, that's a lot of damage coming in by the Ezreal, and he's just gonna try and...
Oh no, and no, the Garen actually gets caught out here. This might be game if he actually gets caught out, and here comes once again the coming in from the Syndra.
A lot of damage coming in by the Ezreal right there.
But no kill, that's the important thing. The Garen is just so tanky. Like, they really couldn't burst him down, and with that, you know, he's gonna have to go back and try to heal up, and meanwhile the top T3 tower is gone. And
it just gets destroyed, you know, like a lot of damage coming in from the side of Lanka Lions. They will be getting this inhibitor, and nobody's gonna answer that, and I think they will be moving towards the bot side as well, try and get that bot inhib as well, and just open up the map for them.
I mean, it's going to put so much pressure on PnX Red because right now they're having a difficult time just dealing with one lane. And the
Mordekaiser is going to come in. Final team fight, I think this will be it. And it's a lot of things happening right now. Ezreal is just attacking towards that bot lane. Nocturne's trying to use their ultimate, but they are just getting destroyed right now. And Garen is trying to ult that Ezreal, but no damage coming in from him. And the Xayah just goes down. That's a triple kill going in for the Ezreal, and they will be able to close this first game.
Yeah, so game number 1 going the way of Lanka Lions, but I feel like...
You do the extra.
Yes, so definitely with that. So that's going to be game number 1 going the way of PnX Lanka Lions. Going up against PnX Red right there. But, you know, in that last fight, Shera, it was just a battle of attrition. So in the sense where the sustain, I mean, in terms of sustain, right? They're two champions with GA. Yeah. So which means, and they had, I think, they had either a stopwatch or an hourglass on Ashe, right? And they just go in. The Zinzao actually with a beautiful ult right there, pushing everyone out of position and giving the ability for the Ezreal to kind of just, you know, go in, pick off each one by one and just, you know, kind of focus down one target in each fight. And then, you know, we saw him get that triple kill. He actually did die to the Garen, but he had the GA. He came back, and then the Mordekaiser went down. He came back with the GA. They tried to finish off Syndra, but the Syndra had a stopwatch, and then they were like, they can't just stand there because there's so many other champions actually beating into you. And, you know, it just put them in a really bad spot, and that's what I meant by they won that battle of attrition. They were waiting for all those to come off, the flashes to come off, they're waiting for the GAs to come back up. And, you know, even though they had the chance to kind of close out the game when the Nocturne kind of stepped out, because no one else was there at the moment, unfortunately. Because if anyone else was there for any sort of control on the Nocturne, they just get that kill and the game is over from there because it's 4 versus 5. But even then, with the 2 Infernos, the 2 other dragons, the Baron buff, I feel like that game was anyway going to be Lanka Lion all the way.
I feel like one of the things is, you know, when I look at PnX Red and their team comp, I really had to question the Nocturne because, you know, at first I thought, you know, hey, he would be able to make some plays, but there were many times when the Nocturne did ult and was not able to really engage, because if he had engaged right there, he would have, you know, died. Yeah. Honestly, you know, and he didn't get a lot of opportunities in order to try and, you know, maybe hop into the Ezreal, because the Ezreal has his arcane shift, so he can just shift away. The Syndra has her stun, so she can just push the Nocturne away. So there are so many, you know, spells on the side of Lanka Lions which just, you know, completely, you know, took off that Nocturne away. So I feel like the Nocturne really didn't have much of an impact this game.
Yeah. So before we break down the game even further, Shera, we'll be heading into a very, very short commercial break. And when we come back, me and Shera will be breaking down the game even further to see maybe what Red could have done better or what Lanka Lions actually did really well in that game. Because Red did have a really good chance, but before that, we'll be heading on over to a short break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we'll be breaking down the game even further. Just game number 1. We still have 2 more games left. Just concluded game number 1.
Yeah.
So there was a moment in that game where PnX Red was actually doing quite well, even though they were behind on kills. It was 11-7 with a 200 goal difference. They took some really good fights. They laid an ambush for the side of Lanka Lions. They executed it really well. What do you think went wrong for them in that, just after the pause, what do you think went wrong for them?
So I feel like, knowing that, they did have that 200 goal difference, and what happened was that, again, the Nocturne, went in with his ultimate, just got destroyed right there, was not able to do anything, and they just cleared. I think what happened was PnX Red wasn't expecting all 5 members of Lanka Lions to be behind the bush, right? Because what PnX Red was thinking was that, they could just pick up this one single target and just get out as soon as possible. But the plan backfired. The Syndra, had that, push and stun, ability, which, enables her to do that. So she did it, used her ultimate also on the Nocturne, and just completely destroys the Nocturne right there.
Yeah, I think just that one fight which they took really badly in that mid lane, they actually managed to jump onto the Syndra initially. They jumped on Ashe, but he was able to flash over the wall. And then the Nocturne actually went in with his ultimate, and no one else could follow up because nobody else had their sums up. And because of that reason, we just saw the Nocturne get kind of blown up, and even then the fight still looked really good for them. But they just kind of divided their attention onto which targets they wanted to focus, because Garen was going on to the Ezreal, and then Xayah was trying to go on to the back lines. I think she was trying to focus down the Nocturne or something like that, which is usually never the kind of target you want to focus, because you always want to bring down the ADC or any sort of prime target, in this case even the Syndra, because they were at that point in time, they were kind of out of position, right? And she was forced to use the flash as well. So they had a very good opportunity, because even the Leona hadn't used too much of her abilities. She still had that her ultimate as well as the other control that she had, and then you had Xayah already using her ultimate. She had to ulti and actually flash in, but she actually missed that opportunity as well. But end of the day, that one fight made the change from a 200 goal lead to an 8,000 goal lead, because they got that 500 goal bounty on the Garen as well. So that was a lot of goal going back the way of the Lanka Lions. And when a team like that gets a lead like that, it makes it very difficult. And they played it so disciplined. They played it slowly. They played it carefully. They didn't give any sort of opportunities for Red to come back after that. And we saw them just getting dragged. They got the 2 Infernos, they got the Ocean Drake, they got Baron twice. So they had so much. They had so much to do with. They had the GAs as well. So the battle of attrition also was on their side, because there was really nothing that Red could do to kind of out-sustain Lanka Lions in terms of fights, because even when you have a GA, you come back quite healthy, and you know everything that you have to throw out, you kind of burst in then and there, use everything, and then suddenly after that, just kind of out of the tank right there.
Oh, we see that first. Those are the highlights what we're seeing right now. I think one of the things which PnX Red can take from this game is just to be aware and just conscious of picking that Nocturne. And also I feel like the Ezreal played a brilliant game this this first game, because he was uncatchable. He would always arcane shift away whenever someone was on him. So definitely respecting that Ezreal is also one of the key factors which PnX Red can take from this game.
Yeah, so this is the other, even after this actually, they still managed to keep it together. And it was still a 200 goal difference only because here the Leona gets caught out. They actually managed to catch Zaya as well. Zaya goes down, Zindra is there, they kind of just burst him down. And the Garen comes in to help and he's suddenly in the middle of 5 champions and he's just like, oh guys, help. Like, I thought we were fighting, but then he was doing a great job until then. Even after this, he was actually doing.
I think it was a bit of a miscommunication, late reactions right there. We see the Ezreal getting caught right here. This was that beautiful, setup which PnX Red was trying to achieve, but unfortunately,
they actually did.
It actually went down well for him. Yeah.
So Nocturne, even with that, what is it? The stopwatch? Yes, stopwatch. Oh my god. I was like, hourglass? I was like, wait, no, it's before the hourglass. So this is the fight that, so here you can see the Nocturne getting
completely smashed, yeah.
So you can see now they actually, so they have one focusing the Ashe and one focusing the, what do you call it?
I mean, initially it kind of looked like it was going well for the side of, PnX Red. You see the Zaya just waiting at a good position, trying to get all those feathers down. But, I mean, we see on the side of Lanka Lions, super low health bars, and they just managed to get away and, picked up 4 kills right there. And that led to them getting Baron, and this is where things just went south for the side of PnX Red.
Yeah, it was super unfortunate. But anyway, with that is going to be game number 1 going to the conclusion. So we're going to leave you guys to enjoy the rest of the highlights. So when we do come back, we'll be having game 2 ready for you guys. So please do stay tuned because there is definitely more League of Legends actions coming your way. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 here. GamerLK Clans League of Legends. What a game one that was. It was very close. It was back and forth. It seemed like Red were in a very good position to actually take the game off Lanka Lions, but then they showed discipline and they showed a lot of patience. And they managed to take game number 1. Shera, so what are you expecting in game number 2?
So game number 2, I really expect that, PnX Red really step up their, composition and, communication. They definitely need to have it on point. I feel like there were some points, in the game where there was a slight miscommunication what was happening. The team members weren't in the, one right mindset. So hopefully they can fix that. And yeah, let's see if they can come back better and stronger.
Yeah, definitely. I think... So I think they might want to look into kind of taking out the Ezreal, because it seemed like he was quite a lot of trouble, because he had so much mobility.
Yeah.
And that made it very difficult for them to get on top of him and try to kind of burst him down.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they remove him from the equation, they might have actually a much better chance.
Definitely, yeah.
And especially the Syndra too.
The Syndra, I mean, it's always something, you just got to be careful trying to deal with the Syndra, because there are a lot of mages in the game, and, you cannot really, Ash has got a lot of picks under his belt, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what makes it very difficult to deal with him.
And I feel like, one of the things is, Nightmare, if he's a player, if you can get onto him and you can try and secure him, and try and just, take him out of the equation, then PnX Red will have a better chance of, trying to come back into the game. So I feel like, Lanka Lions picking that Ezreal also, he was quite slippery. He was able to just get away from the arcane shift away. So I feel like that's just something PnX Red has really got to be careful for.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, they were never able to get on top of him because they had so much control, right? But he played it so well that they never gave them the opportunity to kind of stun lock him as well.
And I feel like that's the whole point of the Nocturne, right? It's to jump on the carry, right, and just take him out. That is the whole what he was supposed to do. So
his role in the game.
Yeah. So hopefully, they learn from their mistakes, what happened in the first game, and they play this game really better. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. I think, there were a few moments where they could have done a lot better, but, in game 2, there are a few changes that we'd like to see. Maybe it might work out in Red's favor, because it is a best of 3. Anything can happen in best of 3s, right? Because even last time we saw, NFAs did manage to take game number 1, but then Lanka Lions was strong in game number 2. But with that, without taking too much more time, we'll be heading in to the next one. So once again, this time we have PnX Red on the blue side and Lanka Lions on the red side. So Shera, take it away.
We see PnX Red with the bans coming in. We see the Vladimir, Mordekaiser, and the Malzahar. This time they did ban out the Mordekaiser, so that is a good ban going out for the side of PnX Red. And we see Lanka Lions banning out the Echo, the Annie, and the Rumbo. And we see PnX Red picking Caitlyn and Jax. This time a different jungle for the side of PnX Red. So definitely we'll see what they can come up with. And we see Lanka Lions this time not going for that Ezreal, but going for that Xayah and the Nautilus.
Yeah, this Xayah, I mean, will be it comes out to how you play it in the lane, I guess. And with the Xayah Nautilus, I mean, last time we did see that Nautilus mid, which seemed to be,
we see the Swain being picked up, because it was one of those picks which Lanka Lion did ban the previous game. So this time, the PnX Red is able to take out that Swain. So hopefully we will see some good gameplay coming in right here.
Yeah, definitely, it's going to be interesting, because that's not a very easy hero, easy champion to kind of execute as well. So you need to have a lot of hours on that champion to kind of execute. And once again, we do see Xin Zhao being picked up once again here. I mean, it worked really well for them in game number 1. So, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So with that, only this time, I mean, they haven't picked up the Ezreal, so this time they want to go into Xayah, because they did reveal Caitlyn very early. It was the first pick, Caitlyn. So this time, they want to get the ADCs out of the way and then try to, build up a comp around that. And with that, looks like they've gone in for a Jax jungle this time instead of the Nocturne, because it's easier for him to not get bullied by the side of PnX Lanka Lions. Because right now, I mean, last time we saw them going in for that aggressive invade, and the Nocturne just got bullied throughout the whole game, and that was not what you wanted. Because as a jungler, when you are behind on CS, it's not like you can go into a lane and start farming. You need to stay off the map. That's where you have the most effectiveness coming out from you, because everyone is afraid. They don't know where you are. Unless that tracking skills of junglers is like god tier level, right? Yeah. So you need to keep that fear, especially with someone like Nocturne, who can just jump on you at any moment. And with that, looks like they're banned out once again. The Target has been banned out. Morgana has been taken out. Then on the side of PnX Red, the Syndra has been taken out. So and this time they've taken out what's his name?
Ashes.
No. So the top lane, I can't remember his name. The guy who
Sion.
charges at you. Zion. Okay.
Yeah.
See, you learn something new every day. Sorry, excuse me.
And we see an Ornn coming in for the side of Lanka Lions, so that is going to be very interesting right there, and certainly does work well with their team comp as well. And again, we see the Leona coming in for the side of PnX Red. It was the same pick what was picked the last time, and all what we have to see right now is the mid laner being picked for the side of PnX Red. Who is it going to be?
So actually both teams haven't picked up their mid laner yet. So this way, because PnX Lanka Lions does get that last pick, I feel like the mid lane, Ash will probably have a leg up.
Yeah.
But looks like he's going to go for that RE.
Ooh, that's actually a favorable pick. I really admire the RE right there. You know, being able to get away from sticky situations as well using the ultimate. And all what we have to see is what their mid laner Ash is going to be picking up. So only time will tell. What do you think about this team comp right now?
So right now, once again, I mean, on the side of Red, there's a lot of control. You have Jax's staff spinning. I don't know what it's called, but basically the moment that's over, you get a free stun.
Oh, I'm seeing the Nautilus mid again. Is that what I'm gonna be seeing again?
Yes, it's probably going to be.
This is again, for a quick reminder, right? This is what we saw in the first game of FaZe versus Lanka Lions when they were in the upper finals. We did see Ash picking up that Nautilus mid lane, and it was really questionable for a lot of people. So we will definitely have to see what this Nautilus will bring to the table this game.
Yeah, definitely. I think it happened in game number 1 as well as 3.
Yes.
So even in the last game, he did pick up that mid Nautilus. But even then, I mean, so far the track record for the mid Nautilus not so great.
Yep. I mean, maybe Ash is out there to prove. He's out for blood. He really wants to prove something. So we will see what will happen this.
Yeah, but mid Nautilus against RA. That's a tough lane.
Yeah, you could already just skedaddle, use her ultimate, just dash away like, hey, bye.
And we haven't even considered the fact that free poke. Like every single time Nautilus wants to go for a CS, it's going to be, oh, here's an AWP for you, here's a charm for you, here's some foxfire for you, burn, it's like, just like, what are you going to do against that? You're going to hook into him, and he'll be like, okay, I'm going to charge, I'm going to run. Okay, you're going to hook into me, fine, I'm just going to ult away from you. What are you going to do? You don't have the burst damage to kill me. I have so much mobility, you don't. And he's going to have to pick up some sort of a summoner skill that's going to have to help him with that, because usually you see RA is going for like something like flash with barrier. Or sometimes some people, they want to pick up exhaust for whatever reason, because it makes it easier for them to land the follow-up charm or their orb or something like that. I mean, but it'll come down to player preference and how they want to kind of play it. But right now, Nautilus against RA in the mid lane, I am thinking very RA favored, and I feel like if the Nautilus does not get off good roams, because he's not going to be wanting to stay in that RE lane, because RE can always get on top of the Nautilus. So unless there's a really good jungle gank or something that's coming into that RE pre-6, it's actually going to be very difficult to kind of deal with as Nautilus. So once again, even doesn't matter how good you are, if it's a melee versus range matchup, and I've learned in League, it's a very, very different kind of game that you play, because it's not like any other game, right? So when you're in a range versus melee matchup, you're going to get bullied. And this is a very hard lesson that top laners learn very difficultly unless you know the matchup to a T. So like few things that you can always pick up is like Jace is one of those heroes. So you know that I'm actually a Riven one trick. So with Jace, the matchup that I've learned is usually you just get bullied throughout the whole game until you get level 6, and you want to wait until Jace actually activates his ultimate, because the moment he uses his ultimate to go into melee form, he's actually, most of his other skills are on cooldown. So then you can actually engage onto him and actually just be able to kill him, because he can't react to you. So those kind of situations, if you do understand the matchup, you can. But majority of the time, especially at this level, where in the pro leagues here, Shera, it's not it's not something where you see new teams going up against each other. These are players who have played for years and years and years on end. They put in so much time, so much effort. They're at the peak of their game right here, and they are going to be, I think, right now the RE is going to be super happy. He's like, Nautilus, cool. You can try, you can experiment with your Nautilus mid, but I'm going to be playing RE. You're going to be Nautilus. That's a melee versus range matchup. It favors me. I'm going to dominate this lane, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I mean, one of the things, Ash is known for, playing majors, and, he's pretty dominant on those majors. So this Nautilus pick is really a, question. I don't know what, I haven't been, able to ask him, why the Nautilus pick. So it's something, which maybe their team is just trying to bring something together, so should be something.
I feel like there is something magical that we don't expect, right? Because these things happen, and most of the time, like, okay, so most of the time you see professional players like pull off this really weird stuff. Like, you know, best example was a few years ago when Caps was in Fnatic, and you know, we saw these like ADCs in the top lane, we saw junglers in the mid lane, we saw mid laners in the bot lane. I mean, we were like, what is going on? But when it worked, and it was magical when you watched it. So maybe it's something like that, you know, and when it works for, if it works for Ashe, then you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to play Nautilus mid. I'm going to see whether, you know, I can execute this. And that is where the beauty of any game comes in from. And that definitely with, you know, a few new things coming out from the side here for League of Legends, especially with the new map that's going to be coming out and changes happening and the updates that are coming. And, you know, there's actually quite a few updates that keep coming around and changing the way the game is played, right? And, you know, when you have something like that and you're able to kind of pick up these new, interesting kind of strategies, and if you execute them properly and everyone just sees that, it's magical, isn't it? And that is something, you know, we always, so it can go either way. I mean, right now the track record for it is not great, but if it works, I feel like when people figure out what it is that Ashe is trying to do with this mid Nautilus, I feel like many people might actually get onto that bandwagon as well.
So hopefully we'll see that. Hopefully this will be the game where Ashe will be able to prove himself right here.
So with that, we do have once again to thank our sponsors, obviously Shera. So we have Freemia, online digital banking partners who have made online transactions. And sorry, I don't know why I synchronize just a little bit, you know, after effects from the stream. But anyway, so it makes it very easy to make online transactions. It also terminates the fact of you having to carry cash around, because, you know, back in the day when you want to carry cash around, you're always in danger of someone always trying to take it off you or you're losing it. But now when you have everything on your phone, even if you lose it, the security is still there because there's no way to access that money. So, you know, it brings you so much security as well as ease of access. So, you know, Freemia is doing a great job with that. And then with that, we have Pereira Sounds, also known as PnX, our food partners here in Sri Lanka. And if you guys don't know what PnX is, clearly you're not Sri Lankan, because everyone knows what PnX is. I think even from our childhood, you know, whenever we want to pick up something to eat before practices, you know, PnX is where we want to go. So that's, you know, definitely our food sponsors coming in for the tournament. And then we have MSI, you know, with their amazing gaming peripherals, globally recognized brand for sure. And with that, not just gaming peripherals, but also gaming laptops. So you can, you know, for gamers on the go, especially if you're someone who travels a lot, just having that ease of convenience with a high performance gaming laptop, MSI brings that. So they are on board as our laptop partners as well. So amazing stuff happening overall. And so far, you know, we went through the Challenger League and now we're in the Pro League, Shera, and the games have just turned complete 180. I mean, we saw certain games where, you know, there were a few questionable plays being made, some really good games, some really intense games, but right now every single game that is being played in Season 4 of the Pro League have just been, you know, putting us on edge, keeping us excited, keeping us watching more, and especially with the you know, addition of a little bit of drama here and there. You know, so many eyes are on this tournament right now, so there's a lot of pressure.
I mean, it definitely, you know, the drama definitely makes things interesting. So it's, you know, it's you know, fun for everybody to watch, and, you know, it's very exciting.
Definitely, I think there's a lot of eyes on Lanka Lions in this game for sure. I feel like, you know, maybe you just want to go with comfort picks and try to close out the game, try to be a bit safe, but I feel like they might have put in even more time, even more practice into this Nautilus. So that's the only questionable thing that's going in my mind right now, right? Because right now, just looking at the way the draft composition is, I feel like Red has a really good chance of, you know, taking this game number 2, because they just seem to have a little bit more control, a little bit more balance in terms of how their lanes are
set up. And a lot more understanding as well, you know, like definitely, you know, I think substituting that Nocturne for the Jax is also a very good idea, and, you know, which is what they have done this game, and hopefully it goes out really well for them. You know, talking about the mid lane matchup also, Ahri versus the Nautilus, I mean, me personally, I would definitely say the favor has to go for the Ahri. So hopefully they would be able to execute and, you know, just learn from what they did, you know, learn from the mistakes which they did that previous game.
Yeah. So this time I think we'll be having, it's going to be, it was Zaya as well as, I can't remember what the support was.
Zaya and the Nautilus.
No, so Nautilus is mid lane.
Oh yeah, the Nautilus is mid lane. It was actually the Lulu, I think.
It was the Lulu, last pick Lulu, yeah. Okay, so it's going to be Lulu and Zaya in the bot lane taking on, obviously it's going to be Caitlyn as well as Leona. So they do have a decent amount of stuns. So if Lulu doesn't use that, you know, the Hex properly, they might actually get in quite a little bit of trouble, because both these heroes are actually quite squishy. So what I mean by squishy is they're very low on health, easily burstable as most ADCs and supports are, but Nautilus is usually very tanky, you know, sustainable. So even if you do get a stun off on him with Leona, you can always, you know, kind of still survive, right? So in this case, if they get caught up by the Leona with the damage coming from the Caitlyn as well as the Leona, I feel like either the Lulu or, especially if they catch out the Lulu, because there's no way that the Xayah can help the Lulu, but the Lulu can help the Xayah because she can always, polymorph. So that is something that they will be looking forward to. But right now, PnX Lanka Lions once again in a very aggressive stance at the start of the game. So we saw this from them last game as well. So let's see whether they can pull off something in this game. But this time I think they are waiting for PnX Red is actually waiting in the red side right now, so not really going for.
And one of the great things, the PnX Red has definitely learned this game because they have warded the side of their blue side, completely. There are vision wards right there, so definitely they know if PnX Lanka Lions will try any tricks up their sleeves.
But this time Lanka Lions do have a decent amount of control. They have the Nautilus hook, they have the on ultimate, they have the polymorph, they have Xin Zhao's ultimate to kind of disperse everyone as well. So there's a decent amount of abilities that they can use this time as well, so kind of bring those fights in their favor. But once again, this mid lane matchup, like we said, Nautilus goes for last hit. He's going to get orbed. He's going to take damage. So once again, this beautiful angle right here from the Sky Cam.
And this beautiful Ori right now.
The KD Ori, I mean, come on, man.
Beautiful
so
skin
good,
right there.
Definitely something, that... meanwhile in the top lane.
Yep, Swain is already off to a good start, trying to pull that Ornn in and just trying to put some pressure in. And
early gank here.
Yep, we see that the jungler Xin Zhao just trying to come in mid, and Ahri has to blow her flash for that, and that is a good advantage going towards the side of Lanka Lions right there.
Yeah, I mean, I learned the hard way that, Xin Zhao can kill you at level 2. So, these guys obviously they played a million times, exactly what's happening. But once again, we were talking about range versus melee, and that's what we're seeing right now. This Swain is he's just going to dominate this lane over and over, and the more levels he's going to get, the more this on is going to get bullied out of the lane. So I hope he has picked up some sort of regen. Usually as Riven, you don't really have mana problems, so you don't really need to get the pot. So you can always pick up like Doran's shield with...
They're trying to get into that level to, engage right there, but unable to hit those kills. But, so far... nothing much is happening except for that mid lane flash which was blown towards the side of PnX Red, and Leona is looking to try and pull in and engage but just backs off. We see the Xin Zhao moving towards the bot side trying to get a gank up, and I don't think that they know, but the Jax is actually sitting down in the bush. Now, it's a 3v3, they are not expecting this Jax to come in right now, and the Jax jumps in on the Xin Zhao. Who are they engaging? They really need to focus who they're engaging right now, because the Leona is going in on the Lulu, the Jax is going on the Xin Zhao, so little bit of a miscommunication right there.
Yeah, that's really... I mean, this keeps happening with PnX Red, quite often, especially in team fights. And now even here, I mean, they got that jump, they got the surprise, because Xin Zhao was not expecting that. But they all of a sudden the Leona changed targets to the Lulu, and the Jax was still chasing the Xin Zhao, and they were like, Caitlyn is like, I'm gonna hit all 3 of you, and then suddenly it's just confusing. But right now, looking at in terms of CS right now, I feel like the Nautilus is actually doing decently against against the Ahri. The Ahri hasn't really started bullying, but once again you can see the On right now taking so much damage from the Swain, and Swain is just having a super good time in this top lane. But the On is not doing that bad in terms of CS as well.
Yeah. I mean, definitely playing it out pretty safe right there. Nothing too fancy. We see like a 300 gold difference, nothing too much.
On actually going in.
Yep, and we see the Xin Zhao coming right, and Swain has to just flash away from there. Can they get that kill? And they do secure that kill. That is first blood going towards the side of Lanka Lions.
Yeah, that was a great rotation. This Xin Zhao is just putting so much pressure on the map. Ace with a really great job coming out with these rotations. Forced the flash in the mid lane, forced the flash in the top lane, and still got the kill as well.
He's been through all 3 lanes right now, and it's only been like 4 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of pressure coming. I think that's the beauty of being able to pick up Xin Zhao as a jungler, because of that early game aggression, right? And if it works in your favor, he just snowballs so hard in these games.
And that's definitely a well-deserved pick right there coming in for the side of Lanka Lions. In terms of the CS, we see everything is even, nothing too fancy right now. Even the Nautilus is just
the hook coming in.
Beautiful hook coming in by the Nautilus. Already just charms away and just gets away. Just like that, but that's some good damage coming in from the Nautilus.
Yeah, so the next time the Nautilus engages, he actually might be able to bring down this Ahri no one is not, I mean, Ari is not level 6 yet, so it's probably the best time that he can actually go in.
Yeah.
So looking at charges also, Ari doesn't have that much regen. She just kind of blew the last bit that she had, but the On is actually still, I mean, the Nautilus actually still has no charges actually. He doesn't have any charges left either. So right now I think that he's going to be happy to get the level 6 and then maybe try to make some sort of rotation. Bot lane right now is pushing in this wave, making sure to get that cannon minion, super important. Otherwise, you know, most people, I mean, like even I get triggered when I miss a cannon minion.
You definitely do not want that, you know. I mean, there are times, you know, when the support, you know, they has his relic shield and the support is gonna go for it, but it doesn't go for the cannon, and you're just like, bruh, like, why didn't you take the cannon?
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes when you let someone else take the cannon minion, it actually gives you so much anxiety.
I know, right?
Like, why are you taking it?
Because you're not sure if he's gonna take it or not, and you end up taking it, and it's just like,
Gives you so much anxiety actually.
Yeah.
But with that right now, so far things looking really good for Lanka Lions. I mean, a little bit of the rotations coming in. I mean, it's majority on the back of the Xin Zhao, who's been putting a lot of pressure on the map, and he's actually doing a great job of keeping decent CS as well. But the Jack so far, the only rotation he made was in the bot lane. He's been focusing a lot on just, you know, getting up these camps and getting those levels, because Jax is super strong when he hits level 6, because that bonus damage is nothing to be of, you know, it's not something you should just laugh at.
What we see right now is the Nautilus actually moving towards the side of PnX Red. He's trying to sniff out where the Jax is, and he does spot him. So PnX Lanka Lions definitely knows where the Jax is up to, and I think they are going to be starting that Dragon, maybe?
Yeah, this is something that Lanka Lions seem to be doing quite often. I mean, they try to find a pick and then immediately try to pick up these very early dragons the moment they come out. But this time I feel like they just want to play a little bit safe. They don't really want to commit and try to get anything like that. But meanwhile, in the top lane, we thought the Swain was doing really great, but that one kill coming onto the On has just given him so much confidence to kind of start fighting. And you can see he has already picked up the Doran Shield for that extra regeneration. He has picked up a cloak to reduce that magic damage coming out from the Swain as well. So really good pickups.
We see the Orn right here all by himself on the side of PnX Red jungle. Can they clean this kill up? And I think they will be able to get this kill. Orn just flashes away right there. That is quite questionable. I don't know why he would try and do that. But to answer for that, Lanka Lions comes bot, tries and take this Ocean Drakes, and I think they will be able to get this, you know,
They'll definitely be able to get this quite comfortably. I mean, A-Star does have the smite available as well, so there you have it, the smite being used. He does have, you know, one of those plants in the river as well, so he's going to heal up back to full. They get the dragon, even though it is just Ocean Dragon for the moment, it's still very useful.
But Ocean Drake is very useful, especially in the early phase, because, you know, once you're in the laning phase, you know, you definitely want that health regen, you know, sustaining you in the lane. So it's very important that, you know, that they got that Ocean Drake right there.
Yeah, definitely. I think any Drake that you can pick up at any time is always going to be super important for you. But right now, you know, in turn of the last game right now, we don't see so many aggressive movements coming up from Lanka Lions. We don't see those, like, that deep wall vision. We see a lot of safe vision actually, but the On actually just making a little bit of a mistake there, getting caught out.
Oh, we see the Ahri coming in top again. Can she pull off that kill? Jax is also moving right there. They are trying to pick this Ornn out, and they're just trying. And
I think the Swain needs to push in this lane. They need to dive and get this kill. Because otherwise they're wasting so much time here.
I mean, they're investing a lot at this top side right now, and Bot's just gonna have to play safe. Nautilus is just trying to push.
Oh, Xin Zhao is actually moving to the top right here. He might get caught by these three champions.
They have vision on the Xin Zhao as well, and I don't think. Okay, Xin Zhao is part of them, and they're trying to get this red.
Oh, but Ashe is around. The Nautilus is here as well. Are they going to take the engage? No, the smite is there. They do get the red. So once again, PnX Red this time giving PnX Lanka Lions.
Oh, we see a teleport coming in right now. Ornn and the Nautilus just gonna teleport bot side, and they destroy that Caitlyn, and they also get that Leona. So that's 2 kills picked up for the side of Lanka Lions. That is absolutely genius what they did right there. They knew top lane was confusing, right? And they saw that perfect opportunity. They communicated, and they made that play. Double teleport coming in towards the side of bot side, and they pick up 2 kills right there.
What a beautiful ult coming in from the On as well, and a really nice preemptive ultimate coming out from Lulu to make sure that the Nautilus can get in without getting controlled by the Leona as well. So once again, you can see it. Here comes the beautiful ultimate, hitting, connecting onto both of them, immediately bring down the Caitlyn, and the follow-up is there. So this is I think the teleport Nautilus is what we're looking at. So much high mobility, really great, you know, ability to just kind of get in, tank a lot of damage, tank a lot of these turrets, you know, just kind of control a lot of these champions on the side of PnX Red, and it seems to be working out. I mean, best 2 out of 3, Shera.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually, wow, the way how they played it, I mean, props to them, you know, because they actually really pulled it off. You know, I mean, we saw the Ornn and the Nautilus and the Xin Zhao, you know, waiting towards the top side. You know, they were confused as to what was happening in the jungle. They knew, you know, they trying to mess around with their play. It's just not going to work. It can either work for them or it cannot work against them. But they made the best play. They went towards that bot side. They communicated really well. Teleport. Making use of
the Ornn might actually get caught here. The jumping coming out from Jax, and the charm is there from the Ahri. They need a few more, but the Ahri does have that ultimate available. There's nothing that he can do, and he's going to get taken down. And with that, they have the Herald available as well.
Yeah, they got the Herald as well, yeah. And that was first tower going for the side of PnX Red, so that is a good call right there, good play, yeah.
Yeah, definitely, I think they need to get the Ornn. I mean, he was getting a little bit out of control. Now the Swain has actually caught up. He's actually overtaken him in terms of the CS. He's actually gotten 73, even though he has gone down once, and he has a few decent items as well. So right now with this Herald, they're doing a lot of damage, but the Xin Zhao is there to try and mitigate it. But right now, this Ahri the rotations are actually working quite well for them. They're getting something at least out of the rotations coming out from the Ahri. This time the communication seems to be a little bit better on the side of PnX Red. So, but Lanka Lions still actually they're behind, even though they have higher kills, they're still behind on net worth.
Yeah, and what we're seeing right now is, you know, again, PnX Red focusing towards their top side, and they are being quite successful with it. But I think one of the things PnX Red has to be careful is that, you know, just to basically their red side doesn't have to dominate bot lane, right? They just have to sustain. If they could just sustain, you know, farm well and not get picked off, then they would, if they come into the mid to late game, then they would be able to, you know, pull up a good show.
Yeah, definitely, and what's interesting is even though PnX Lanka Lions have been making players around the map, they've managed to get, you know, these decent amount of kills.
Yeah.
But everyone is still, when you're taking comparison to their counterpart, they're actually behind in terms of CS. I mean, the Ornn was doing quite well, but now the Swain, I mean, you know, just at some point the Swain is going to overtake you. The Jax has kind of fallen back a little bit.
Yeah, what we're seeing right now is we see the Ornn just waiting around that bot side, trying to get an ultimate off. And we see 3 members actually moving towards the mid side. Can they get a kill? That is the question, but unfortunately they would not be able to get anything.
I don't think they have an opportunity there right there, because they don't really have anyone who can kind of set up the kills for them, because it's not like Nautilus, right? You have a really long range, so it's easy to catch out someone if they overstay their welcome. Yeah. But Jax needs to be a certain amount of range to be able to ward hop into that, you know, stun coming out from his E. So, you know, he has so many ways. Like, he doesn't have as much, you know, ways to engage like PnX Lanka Lions do.
We see everybody moving towards the bot side right now. They are trying to get this Infernal as soon as possible.
It's super important.
Yeah, very important. And we see the Xin Zhao moving in. We see the Nautilus moving in. They do get that Infernal, but Ornn is just going to use his ultimate right now. They are going to commit heavily onto this team fight. What can they do? Swain just flashes away. Everybody is trapped on the side of PnX Red. They're trapped inside the Baron pit, and they just pick off kills left and right.
This is a really good fight for them right now, and they've already lost 2, but they're still fighting up, and now with that they actually have a few more. The Leona was alive for a while. The Swain, I don't know how he was in the middle of everything, but with that they actually do lose 4 champions. They're actually going to lose 5. It's going to be an ace going the way of Lanka Lions, and PnX Red is getting a little bit overconfident.
That is actually a very desperate move right there, because they wanted to take that Infernal as soon as possible, but what ended up happening was that, you know, 3 members were caught inside the Baron pit, and PnX Lanka Lions was just having a smash at them. You know, they were in that pit and they were just cleaning them up left and right.
I mean, this is what we were talking about, right? Because look at the way the Nautilus actually set it up. Because he could go into 4 heroes with no fear, because they know they can't burst him. And a beautiful ult coming out from Ornn, connecting into 2. And here we have the 3 champions just getting stuck in the pit here. Not sure why they decided to stay. The Swain throughout all of that was just standing in the middle, but he didn't have any damage. He wasn't doing any damage to any of these people, not even the Lulu. Even the Lulu managing to, in the end of the fight, just be able to get out. And they actually got aced perfectly.
And I think what was happening right there, we see
right in the bot lane now. Xayah might get caught out here actually.
Yep, she's all by herself, and Leona just getting that ultimate onto the Lulu only. They're trying to go in aggressive on this Xayah, but unable to. They have to respect this Xayah and just back off right there. And Caitlyn's trying to go super aggressive, and that is a super low Lulu right there.
Lulu, you need to go back to base, Lulu. I think you almost, I mean, a little bit of over-aggression there. If the Leona had turned to even get one right click off onto the Lulu, might be a little bit trouble there. But, you know, they didn't lose the Caitlyn in the end, and that's the most important thing. Yeah. If they managed to turn around and get the kill on the Lulu, I think that would have been a huge deal because that's always extra gold going the way of the Caitlyn.
Yeah, and now we see Nautilus and the Xin Zhao trying to move in towards the bot side. Jax is also towards that bot side, trying to get something off, but in terms of the game, I feel like, you know, it's still, PnX Red can still pull this off. They just need to play super safe, and what happened during that last dragon fight really did not go well for them.
Yeah, so right now the Xin Zhao 3-0-3, the Nautilus actually 3-0-4. So it looks like this game, Ash is really proving by this, you know,
he's really proving it, yeah.
With that, the Jax, I mean, we've seen a few engagements, but you know, other than that, not really much. And once again, we see the beautiful sky cam once again. This time on a little bit of a ground level, so we can just follow the on around. He's just, you know, kind of.
That's actually quite fun right there.
Yeah, exactly. So he's just kind of, you know, hobbling around, just looking for this CS right there, really enjoying himself here in the top lane, just kind of chilling, hitting creeps. You know, that's what everyone loves to do in most games. You know, when there's no one there to put pressure on you, you can just kind of just farm away, get those items, and then just start one-shotting people. That's going to be amazing. But is this an AP Nautilus we're looking at?
AP, yes, it is an AP Nautilus which we're looking at. And we see the Jax just waiting around at the bot side. There's a vision ward in that bush, so they do not know that the Jax is over there. But, you know, PnX Lanka Lions, their bot side is not pushing too heavily. They're kind of suspicious as to what is going on. And the Leona tries to mix in a beautiful engage, and wow. Alright, Zaya just got deleted right there, yeah.
I mean, beautiful setup from the Leona. There was really nowhere that the Zaya could run, and then the Leona just hitting those skill shots, getting the setup, the jump in from the Jax, the follow-up stun, and then the Q coming in from the Jax doing so much damage. Doesn't even need to activate his ultimate there, just kind of destroys the Zaya there.
They're definitely looking to try and take this bot tower right now. Let's see if they can do it. It's a 3v2 right now, and the Ornn is looking pretty beefy also, you know, and he's also got the Lulu, you know, to support him, so I don't think they would be able to do much, so they're just gonna recall. And in terms of, you know, what this Ahri is putting out, what do you think about this Ahri?
I mean, right now, the Ahri, I mean, one thing she should have a better lane, I feel like. I feel like she's playing it very passively because she had so much free poke that she could deal onto the Nautilus, and all you need to do is just kind of dance around the creep so he doesn't get that hook off on you.
Yeah.
And with the mobility that you do have as Ahri, I mean, sure, I understand that it's very difficult, but even if it does hook onto you, you can always just use a charm, get that free damage in, make sure, as long as you win those trades and kind of whittle down the Nautilus, at some point, if he makes a mistake, you can always bring him down. And I feel like he shouldn't be having as good over the time as he did in the mid lane. I think the main reason for that actually being the pressure coming in from the Xin Zhao, because he made that early game rotation at level 2, forced the Ahri to burn flash, and then what happens from there is you can't be as aggressive as you want, because the Xin Zhao can always get on top of you, and then from there he just kind of snowballs the Nautilus because he can get on top of you, and then, you know, he had to make very tough decisions. Either he had to play aggressive, try and win the lane, or he plays aggressive and still loses the lane because the early flash was forced out. And with that, we do see the next Drake going the way of PnX Lanka Lions, the mountain in this term.
Yep. And then we also see PnX Red responding to that by taking that tier 2 top tower. So I think they will be able to take this with ease. And Ahri is just rotating towards the top side. Not sure what she's exactly doing. But we see Lanka Lions trying to pull up and engage right now. And Caitlyn just flashing away is superb. And will they be able to get this kill onto the Xin Zhao? They do get that shutdown. And Swain is just gonna try and use his teleport, but not to his advantage. You know, he will not be able to get anything. Well.
But anyway, just trading jungler for jungler there. Jax getting taken down. 4 ace dot on the Xin Zhao, just going in a little bit too aggressively, getting caught under tower. Didn't manage to get the pullback, but the Jax was there to actually save the rest of the bot lane, which made it a little bit difficult because he did jump, even though he gave up his life, he did jump into 3 more champions and stunned all 3 of them. So that was definitely a very sacrificial lamb play that he was willing to make because he knows that you know, Lemonade, if he gets the right items, he can definitely, you know, bring Charger to a victory here.
And definitely better than taking nothing, so he takes something along.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they did manage to bring down the Xin Zhao as well, so that's definitely a positive. And right now, PnX Red, even though they're behind, nice hook coming out.
Nautilus trying to get a play onto the Ari, but Ari just, like we said, just dashes away, acts like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, and especially with the items that he picked up. I mean, the Looting Zeko is always super nice, and with that, the more you skill your ultimate as well, the lower the cooldown becomes. The Ari is actually, something that's very difficult to catch.
We see the Ornn coming in with an ultimate right now. Xin Zhao is also towards the bot side, and they pick up the kill onto that. Caitlyn, she had like a nice shutdown lead too, so that is going out towards the... Who picked up the kill? The Xayah?
I think it was a Xayah, but what a beautiful ult coming in from the Ornn, a 3-man ultimate there. I was not expecting that. I was expecting maybe one person to get caught given the path that they were taking, but 3 champions, and then you could see the bloodlust in Acelot's eyes. I mean, he was saying Xin Zhao, he wanted to go in. He even got the polymorph, but they just didn't have creeps to dive. And they were like, no, and I could feel Acelot's frustration.
Wow, okay, they really want this bot tower right now, and they're committing super heavily onto this. This is actually very questionable, and they pick up the kill onto the Xayah, and the Swain is just destroying everybody. He's using his ultimate. He will be able to get something off right here, and he pops off that ultimate, and the Leona is just trying to engage onto that Swain, and it is actually 2v4 happening right now.
The Swain did manage to blow up the Xayah, but look at how beautifully PnX Lanka Lions is currently controlling PnX Red. They waited for the Swain ulti, they backed off, and now the Swain is in trouble.
Oh, look at this!
The Ornn is there for the kill as well.
Oh.
And he flashes!
Wait, the Caitlyn actually can pull this off right now. A quadra kill! Can she do it? Holy! Oh, the Ornn is just pushing mid lane and nobody's even responding to her. And wow, that is beautiful right there. Holy!
That was very surprising because it looked very, very PnX Lanka Lion favored, and then they got greedy for a few more kills. The Caitlyn comes in, starts cleaning up 2 kills, gets a few bounties, especially from the Xin Zhao, as well as the Ornn here, because the Ornn had a decent, I think, 150 gold bounty on him as well, and she gets that additional gold. She's going to be dishing out so much damage, and now they're actually behind in terms of net worth, even though they're 5 kills behind. PnX Red right now, definitely on the board. I mean, we were praising this Nautilus mid, and sometimes it may not be. It might be the cursed champion for Ash. I mean, right now, looking at the game right now, once again, PnX Red do have a very good opportunity to come back into this game. They've already come back into this game. They're actually leading. If you take a look at net worth, the Swain just not being able to get on top of anyone else and get, kind of get that control. He did manage to blow down that Xayah. The Xayah, right now, I feel like she's struggling a bit.
It's not like the pretty much so. Definitely.
It's not like the Ezreal game, right? Because we saw him very dominant in the game. It's very hard to capture. But in this game, it feels like I feel like he's still in that Ezreal game, because he feels like, okay, I have mobility, I can get away, but then he's not actually playing Ezreal, he's playing Xayah in this game. So he's getting caught on a little bit too much, and that is never a great sign for any team when your ADC is not doing great.
And the Caitlyn is actually doing super amazing. She's got a 150 gold bounty on her as well. And PnX Lanka Lions is just pushing down this mid lane because no one's responding to them. And the Nautilus uses the ultimate onto the Jax, and Xin Zhao just jumps onto that Jax. I think we'll be able to pick up the kill on the Jax, and they do. And they're just gonna push down this mid tier 2 towers.
I think there's a little bit of a mistake coming out from the Jax to kind of just hop in. Oh, nice hook.
And a pickup by the Leona as well, and they're just going in straight left, right, and center on this Leona. They just don't care. And the Caitlyn is there to respond. Will she be able to do something, because she is the hope for this team.
If she can, Ash
I mean, Ash has got a bounty as well. If Caitlyn can pick up, that's a shutdown going for the side of the Caitlyn, and we see the Ari dying too to the Xayah, and the Swain is just trying to go in by himself, but there's no one there. So.
But the most important thing is that they actually managed to kill Ash, and they got that 400
the
gold
shutdown.
bounty.
That's 700 gold going towards the Caitlyn. I mean, I feel like the hope of PnX Red is this Caitlyn. If they really can, just make sure that she's safe and she just does her thing towards the backline, then they will definitely be able to pull something off. I think they're trying to look for Baron. This is actually a pretty risky call. PnX Lanka Lions definitely knows they're up to something, and they're trying to get this Ocean Drake as soon as possible. But are they going to start this Baron? Nope. They're just going to try and ward.
I mean, it looked really bad, but then that on ulti came out of nowhere. They did trade 2 for 1 though, so it is a favorable trade for Lanka Lions. And right now, Shera, the goal difference is 0.
Yeah, it's actually pretty even as well, huh?
So the goal difference in terms of what we can see is 0.
Oh, these guys are starting the Baron up.
The on is in the area though. They should know that this is happening.
Yep, they do know. They place a vision ward over there and they should definitely respect and back off. You know, what happened during that last team fight was, you know, the Jax did get caught. The Leona did get caught. If they manage to not do something like that and just 5v5, you know, head on, you know, have a fair fight, they should definitely be able to pull something off PnX Red right here.
Yeah, definitely, but there's no such thing as fair fight, Shera.
Yeah.
You know this. So they'll be quite lucky if they get that 5-on-5 fight. They need to kind of set it up for themselves. But PnX Lanka Lions is obviously going to be maneuvering around them as they have done throughout game number 1 and game number 2, and just getting those favorable picks. And you just need to stop making those very, very small mistakes, because PnX Red overall is playing really good league. It's just that these small mistakes that they're making that PnX Lanka is taking advantage of. So even that pick off on the Jax as well as the Leona was because the Jax kind of ward hopped right in front of all of them. And you know, obviously if you ward hop in front of 4 champions when there is like, you know, when they have potential to gank you or even dive you at that point, you don't want to do that. But he did it anyway, and he got caught off. He got committed in with the Nautilus ult, as well as the Polymorph was there. The Xin Zhao committed as well. He died, and then they caught off the Leona, and that was, I mean, they did get the shutdown out of it. But overall, those kind of little mistakes shouldn't be happening, especially at this level.
Yeah. And we also see, you know, in terms of the towers, we don't see Lanka Lions getting much of towers. Just 2 towers under their belt. And we see, you know, Red, they've actually managed to have 4. So, you know, they've pushed quite heavily, and Lanka Lions hasn't really been focusing much on trying to push this game. So right now they're just waiting around towards the Baron side, trying to gain vision on there, you know, trying to clear up all those wards as well. And, you know, we see the Swain by himself at the bot lane. He does have his teleport in order to answer if anything just happens. And PnX Red just trying to play it safe, you know, they're kind of afraid, you know, to go into the jungle, because Lanka Lions is definitely trying to make a sneaky play, trying to catch someone off guard. Oh, we see the Ornn ultimate coming in right now, and
connects on to 2, but they're going to be able to disengage quite fast. Like we said, the RA, you know, you don't want to, that's not the target you want to go on, because she's the one with the highest amount of mobility, right? So usually you don't want to do that, and they actually kind of...
Oh, these guys are going to start the Baron right now, okay?
So battle music for the Baron as well.
Oh, we see the Swain coming in with the ultimate. Wait, Swain coming in with the teleport right now, and they are just heavily committing onto this. What is the Caitlyn going to be doing? This Caitlyn is doing some amazing damage at the back line right now, and the Swain is just going to go super hard, and that's going to be a double kill going towards the side of PnX Red. Wow. Okay, I'm losing my voice. Azman, I'm losing my voice right here trying to talk.
Yeah, I mean, that was beautiful setup. I mean, we saw the team from Swain, we saw the Nautilus trying to kind of, you know, stop them from taking that fight. Now suddenly the shoe is on the other foot, and now
A-Slot is actually just waiting around that, you know, Baron pit. If he gets this Baron, then it's not it will not be.
Smite ready. He had the smite ready as well. Does the even the Jax has it as well, but the rest of the team, they want to go in. The Zaya is there as well. They need to be really careful here.
Oh, gets a beautiful charm by the Ahri, and they do pick up the Baron. They do pick up 2 free kills as well. This is looking amazing for the side of PnX Red. Can they get that kill onto the Lulu? No, the Lulu just gets away, and that is an amazing play coming in by the side of PnX Red. Well, things have definitely taken a turn right now, right?
We were talking about the damage coming out from the Caitlyn. We talked about the sacrifice that the Jax made, and she is delivering right now. She was really not in that great spot. She was 3-3-1. Now she's 8-3-1 with a 500 gold bounty on her. She's picking up items. She has picked up a few items to deal with armor as well. So she's doing a decent amount of damage. This Nautilus is not as tanky as he thought it was. This Ornn is not as tanky as he thought it was. And everyone else just, you know, and the beautiful setup coming in from the Leona, that 3-man ultimate stun, followed up by the Q coming in from the Leona to stun once again to follow it up, and the Caitlyn just beating into them in that Baron pit right there. And what an amazing play coming in from PnX Red. I felt like PnX Lanka Lions made the right choice in trying to go in for that Baron steal, but they were just not there. And once again, you know, we were talking about the Ahri and how she hasn't done too much in this game, but that charm That charm was so much needed. They needed it, landed it, they got so much damage off with the orb. The follow-up was there from the Leona as well as the Caitlyn. There was nothing they could really do. And now the Swain is just bullying this Xin Zhao.
I mean, they would be able to get this kill onto that Xin Zhao as well, and they do pick up the kill. And they're just super strong at this moment. They cannot do anything. And also, Infernal is up, by the way. So I don't know what PnX Red is thinking about, if they should push or if they should actually commit and get this second Infernal, because it's important.
I mean, they have 2 minutes left on their Baron, so they can always fall back and try to get the raid. They don't even need to commit everyone. They can probably just go with the Caitlyn as well as the Jax, but right now they want to use it. Once again, here comes the on ulti. It's not going to connect on to anyone this time, so very unusual. And now PnX Lanka Lions under pressure right
Very
now.
much so, yes. I mean, and we were also talking about, you know, in terms of Lanka Lions, we see the performance by their ADC, the Xayah, right? Not doing that great as opposed to that first game when they did play that Ezreal. Because, you know, he hasn't been able to perform as much, you know, but we see on the side of Red, you know, their ADC is actually performing brilliantly. He is the hope for this game, you know, and they're certainly living up to that expectation right now.
So right now they've lost the bot inhib, and they're probably going to lose the mid one as well because they're just so strong right now. 6,000 gold difference right now.
And I mean, it was honestly, in the beginning, it was going really favorably for Ashe and, you know, the Nautilus, and now it's kind of, you know, declining, showing, you know, why it's declining, you know, towards the mid to late game, because it's not able to, you know, sure, early game should be able to make some plays, you know, you teleport and then you come in with an ultimate, sure, but then if it gets to that mid to late game, then it's kind of proving difficult now, you know, to try and pull off this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think he just needs to stop picking it. I feel like he does so much better with other. I mean, we saw how much. I mean, we saw the plays he made with his Syndra, right? And he can't really do that with Nautilus. Sure, the early game it showed those, you know, it showed the potential of what they wanted to do. But right now, you know, with the things that are where they are, there's a certain reason, because it doesn't matter how well you do on the Nautilus, and if you can't get these pickoffs, if you can't, you know, win these team fights, you don't really do that well. And right now, I feel like PnX Red is just kind of just scaling way better than them, because On also doesn't bring too much to the table. Then we were talking about the Xin Zhao was doing quite okay. I mean, he was doing great actually. He was, I think, 6 and 2. But he can't do the damage to everyone on his own. And you need the support from the Xayah, you need the damage coming in from the Xayah, especially with that ultimate, and, you know, just being able to dish out a decent amount of AoE damage as well. But that is not coming because she gets blown up in these games, in these fights. And right now, I mean, PnX Red is just dominant right now, and we saw the decision coming in from Lanka Lions in that previous game, and that is exactly what we're seeing from PnX Red in this game. They have 2 Infernals right now. You spoke about how the first Infernal is like meh, but the second one is just like, you know, that shit that stabs you, you know? So with that, right now they're moving into this top lane. They need to be super careful, but PnX Red very comfortably in the driver's seat.
Definitely. I mean, both inhibitors are open mid and bot, and they're just going to be sitting comfortably towards the top side and just, you know, casually taking that top
the top tier 3, exactly. So they've already managed to get the mid one, they've managed to get the bot one as well, and now they're looking for that third and final inhibitor. Will they be able to get into question? They have very good wave clear, but so does PnX Lanka Lions, and I think they're actually going in for the mid inhibitor now. So Swaven as well as Ari, both of them are around here. They do manage to bring it, so that is going to be extra additional super minions in that lane as well. So once again, PnX Lanka Lions now the shoe definitely on the other foot. We saw PnX Red in this position. Once again on ulti, does not connect once again.
And Ari and Swain is just, you know, by the bot side. They're just trying to push, and Nautilus gets a beautiful hook onto the Swain, and Swain is just going to commit right now. He's using his ultimate. Can he get anything? But, you know, we see on the top side.
Oh, the hourglass is there. The Ari is still alive, but he looks like he's going to get control. He's still alive, Chera.
Still alive.
He's still alive.
Oh, and he survives.
He's not even dead. What is happening? What am I watching?
Wait, I think this is the reason probably that Lanka Lions banned this Swain right here, right? And the fact that PnX Red did pick this Swain for themselves has proved out, you know, really beneficial for them. And that is the second game. The win going over to the side of PnX Red. That is a 1-for-1, and we are gonna be going into the final game.
I mean, oh god, I was literally screaming in the. He was in the middle of 5 champions. He ults, he uses the hourglass, he buys sometimes hourglass or the stopwatch, I don't know, he somehow buys time, he manages to flash out, he's still alive after everything, his ult explodes, he does so much damage, Ari comes back, throws the up, throws the charm, and then Nautilus just disappears, and then suddenly, you know, the rest of the team comes in and everyone's like, what do we do now? I mean, we just threw everything at him, including the kitchen sink, and nothing really worked out for them, and that was really unfortunate. And even that game was in Lanka Lions' favor, and this time, you know, just like last game where we saw the PnX Red take really bad fights, Lanka Lions just taking that really one bad decision to go into the Baron pit, and that's where the game kind of turned on its head, and currently the score is 1-1, and I felt like initially we saw the magic of the Nautilus working out, but then it just died, Shera, it died so fast. Because initially it looked really great, right? But then, you know, okay, then I was like, okay, AP Nautilus, I'm like, this is going to be interesting, you know, how's he going to do this? But then afterwards, you know, there's just too much mobility, there's too much control, there's nothing that, you know, sure, they can get into fights, but where is the damage coming from? You have an On who's an ultimate, you have a Nautilus who's a hook and an ult, then, you know, who's doing the damage? Because Zaya had a really bad game and she was not doing anything. The only person who was able to do any sort of damage was a Xin Zhao, but you know, it's very difficult in games like this for one person to carry the whole game. I mean, there are certain champions who are just made for it, but in this game, there is no way that they are going to be able to pull that off. So really unfortunate, but we'll be going into a super exciting game number 3, and with that, we still don't know who's going to go through to face off NFAs in the finals. Is it going to be Lanka Lions? Is it going to be PnX Red? Or are they going to keep picking the Nautilus? Or are they going to stop picking the Nautilus? Like sometimes enough is just enough, Shera. I don't know. What's your take on it?
I mean, I think they should definitely not, you know, mess around with that Nautilus. Ash should definitely, you know, hop into some sort of like mage because, you know, he's comfortable with that. And honestly, you know, PnX Red should definitely focus on really limiting their ADC, you know, like not being able to, you know, play that Ezreal like he played that first game was definitely important. You know, Zaya didn't do as much in that game, but, you know, the Caitlyn really popped off, you know, that game. She was the hope for PnX Red, definitely delivered. You know, the moment when things changed was when, you know, Caitlyn got that double kill on the bot side.
Yeah, definitely.
That was the turning point. That was like, okay, we're onto something right now. You know, this Caitlyn can really do something, you know. So that's when things started to turn, and, you know, Caitlyn was able to take the lead, and, you know, that led them to their victory.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, the Jax in the end, that sacrifice, definitely 100% worth it. I mean, you know, just those few changes, like you said, you know, just going back after that game number 1, talking about what they want to go with. And I think, you know, giving the Sven was a huge mistake, obviously, because we saw the way that he played, and he was phenomenal in this game as well. He was just that, you know,
unkillable.
Very unkillable. Like, he was literally unkillable. He was in the middle of 5 people. He was dishing out damage. He was so difficult to deal with as well. And, you know, just so many mistakes happening from the side of Lanka Lions as well. I feel like they just need their players. You need to give them the heroes that they, you know, they're comfortable with, and, you know, something that they can perform on, something that we've seen them just dominate with. Not, I mean, sure, on worked out. There are some amazing ultimates coming out from on, but then what about the rest of the game? What about the mid game? What about the late game? Who's going to close out your game? If your On is having a good game and your Nautilus is having a good game, but there are 2 champions who can't really close out games for you, and if you need your Xin Zhao and your Zaya to be strong enough to close out the game and they are not, okay, sure, the Xin Zhao was strong, but the Zaya was not, and your ADC is a very key component in this, you know, stages of the game. But anyway, with that, we're going to leave you guys to the highlights, but don't go anywhere. We'll be taking a very short break, and once we come back, we'll have the exciting game number 3 to find out whether it's going to be PnX Red or PnX Lanka Lions moving on to the grand finals to face off against NFAs. The hype is real, so stay tuned with us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in a very short while. to GCLL Season 4 lower bracket finals, where who would have thought we are currently in for game number 3, the third and final game between PnX Lanka Lions and PnX Red. We are in for an exciting game, Shera. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
Man, I mean, a lot of things is happening. I never expected, for us to, be this hype, and hopefully, they'll be able to put up a good show.
Yeah, definitely. I think a few things need to be changed. So we do have a 5K challenge for Nautilus to get picked in the mid lane.
Yes.
So yes, we are keeping track of those, don't worry, even though we don't actually talk about it. But 5K challenge, there won't be a Nautilus mid, and to be honest, I feel like there should not be a Nautilus mid. It's just not effective. I feel like they need to either practicing it more or find a really good comp that works with the Nautilus.
Yeah.
So right now, either top lane someone who can carry, or bot lane someone who is more. Maybe the Ezreal even perfectly fine because it's hard to catch. You can just jump around, keep doing damage, but not with that current combination that they were running because they don't have enough carry potential in that game. I feel like the Zinza was the only one who was doing work, but what a turnaround! I think just that one overextension. We talked about that one game defining moment, Shera, in game number 1.
Yeah.
It was when the Nautilus when the Nocturne went in alone with no follow-up, and that led to a complete, just the Morgana being left alive, and that gave the 8K goal lead towards the side of Lanka Lions. And now in this game, the same thing. We saw really good execution, really good kite ability coming in from Lanka Lions. They're taking fights really, really well. And then that one overextension that gave Caitlyn 2 kills with 1 shutdown for 700 gold changed the game. It changed the game, and then from there, the next fight they took, you knew it, I knew it. She started dishing out so much damage. She got the 500 gold bounty on Ash on his Nautilus as well. And then from there, things just went south. They went in for this Baron play, the Baron power play. They wanted to make it. Didn't work out for them. Sure, the Nautilus got in, but the Swaven was too strong. The Caitlyn was too strong. The lockdown coming in from the Leona, the silent, the silent MVP in that game, because the Leona landed everything in that game. The ults were on point, the stuns were on point, the follow-ups were on point from the Leona, and there was really nothing they could do in that game, especially after that. And then from there, Lanka Lions just kind of crumbled, and right now they need to kind of figure out everything for themselves, and let's see whether they can find that, the right combination of champions for them to close this game out and get that shot at redemption against NFAs. Or is it going to be PnX Red to take on NFAs?
Definitely going to be an exciting last match which we're going to be having, and I definitely do feel like, my voice is feeling very hoarse right now. It's been used so much. Don't worry,
I got you covered. If anything happens, I got you covered.
So I definitely do feel, hopefully Red, I mean, they played it well, and I do feel, the fact that their jungler picked the Jax instead, it worked out for them the early game. We saw things went really well. They had that amazing teleport, made that sick play, but then afterwards, things just really took a toll, towards the mid to the late game. And so it's
in the side of the underdogs, especially when everyone starts getting behind the underdogs, and they're like, there's so much support coming in for them. You can feel it. And when you're riding that momentum, you just play so well. Because I remember I had one of these moments against one of the top teams when I was taking part in esports as well. And when you're in that momentum train, you just do so well, and everything just works together. Even if you're not talking, your team is so in sync with you guys.
You guys are in that flow.
Exactly. You're just in the zone. And I felt like towards the latter part of that game, PnX Red actually found that stride that they were looking for. The communication breakdowns that we were seeing were not there anymore. They were, focusing the right targets, and they were just outscaling the side of Lanka Lions, because if you looked at it, the Swain was just massive that game. The Caitlyn was doing really well. The Ahri was doing so much damage as well. So with that, finally we'll be getting into game number 3. So once again, I'm guessing it's going to be PnX Red on the red side, and it's going to be Lanka Lions on the blue side. So once again, Ahri as well as Leona being picked up very early. 2 very strong picks coming up in the opening. And once again, we see a Malzahar this time for Ash. So way better pick already.
I mean, one of his signature picks also, and it's one of those picks which they have also banned out So, and we see on the side of, PnX Red, they did ban out the Caitlyn because apparently maybe they didn't want the other Lanka Lions to pick out the Caitlyn.
I think it comes down to who has the first pick and who has the second pick, right?
So they banned out the Caitlyn and the Mordekaiser and the Vladimir, and Ash is on his signature pick right now, one of his really strongest picks, which is the Malzahar, and again we see the Nautilus, but I think this time it's going to be a Nautilus support.
Yes, it has to be a Nautilus support, otherwise I'm going to lose it. Yeah, but definitely it's going to be Nautilus support. They do manage to pick up the Sion. I mean, we saw it banned in the last game, so maybe, it's going to be another one of those top tier picks for Lanka Lions that really work, that someone they didn't really know how to play with. But anyway, looking at things, Echo has been banned out because Ace Lord plays a really strong Echo. He's really, and Illaoi
coming in right now.
My God.
Very interesting. So I mean, what Lanka Lions definitely did take out that Swain because they were like, hell no, Swain isn't gonna go through. Okay, definitely banned right there. But we do see on the side of PnX Red, their top laner picking out that Illaoi. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how it is gonna match up. And we see on the side of PnX Red, they have banned out that Xayah. Don't want the Xayah. Very questionable because that Ezreal really did work out for Lanka Lions, so we'll see what will happen.
I mean, maybe they're just confident and PnX Red knows that even if Lanka Lions do pick up the Ezreal, they'll still be good enough to kind of deal with it, because the Illaoi actually, if he plays properly and he waits for those cooldowns, the Sion is going to be in a lot of trouble, and especially once he hits level 6, there's going to be so much damage, because if he does get that tether onto the Sion, we might actually have to see him use ult to get out of a certain situation. But at least when the Sion does go down, he does have that extra life once again for a very short period of time, where he can do a decent amount of damage in that rage form. But with that, looks like they're going to ban out the Jax here, so limiting picks for Charger at this point on the side of PnX Red. So they do take out Nocturne as well on the side of PnX Red, so it's another jungler that they don't want. But so far they've been running only Xin Zhao in both the games, so let's see whether they change it up and go for something more signature Ace Lord. But actually, technically you can't say that anymore because Echo has been banned out. But with that, let's see, they will be picking up their jungler in this. So Charger, who are you going to charge PnX Lanka Lions with is the question. I'm sorry I had to make that pun. It was coming, and with that, Hecarim actually gets banned out as well.
And they definitely did respect that Jax right there, which Charger did pick up, and we see the Syndra coming out on the side of PnX Red now. That's very interesting.
That's definitely not a jungle Syndra. It has to be.
Wait, what am I seeing right now? Because I see an Ahri.
Wait, what? No,
I see an Ahri and a Syndra right now. What am I looking at?
Wait, what?
Please don't troll me.
Are they trying to pull a Lanka Lions here by putting Syndra in jungle?
Who is gonna be jungling? This is the question which I'm having right now. Okay,
oh my God.
There is a lot of questions which is happening right now, but we do see there's no dodges, so I think they're very committed to this. And we also see, PnX Lanka Lions and Sejuani being picked up right now. And what's going to be that last pick? It's going to be an ADC, and that's going to be a Kai'Sa. So that's going to be leading towards that Ezreal right there, which has worked out pretty well for them during that first game. So they do pick up that Ezreal, good pick going out for them. And then we see PnX Red right now. What is going to be their last pick? They're certainly not dodging right now,
Yeah. So right now, they have Vayne in the pool.
Yeah.
They have Jhin in the pool.
Wait,
they have Kai'Sa in the pool.
Maybe it's a Syndra ADC. Because mages are pretty strong right now in the bot lane.
I mean, we have seen it in that matchups as well. So.
Yeah.
No, Kai'Sa is here.
Okay.
Oh, it's a jungle Syndra. What am I watching?
What? All right. Oh, wait. No, jungle Kai'Sa. No, there's a lot which is happening here. Yep, it is actually a Syndra ADC, a jungle Kai'Sa, and we see Ahri in the mid lane, picked up by, Kasa. It was picked up during the last game as well. But we're in for a treat right now. Unexpected, right? This is what we're expecting during the final game between PnX Lanka Lions versus PnX Red, ladies and gentlemen.
So, to be honest, I don't think both of us were expecting this.
Nope.
Kai'Sa jungle, excuse me. What is this? Are we watching Fnatic or something right now? Oh my good lord, this is going to be one interesting game right here.
Very much so.
But you know, in terms of effectiveness, I don't know how this Kai'Sa is going to make rotations. But at least if they do go into the late game, they have decent amount of scaling for sure. But it'll all come down to whether this Sejuani can put pressure on the map early, whether Ash can pop up with this Malzahar, whether the bot lane Ezreal can pull off that magic that he had in game number 1. But I cannot stop thinking about the Kai'Sa jungle. What?
It's very interesting. I mean, Kai'Sa jungle was a thing in the past, but like currently in the meta, I'm not sure how she scales, but you know, before there was a time when Kai'Sa jungle actually worked in the jungle. So this is going to be very interesting, and I feel like PnX Red are taking a very bold move this game. You know, they're just going all in because, you know, they've got nothing to lose as well, right? It's either, you know, go hard or go home. And so they're definitely taking up that risk, and hopefully it'll pay out for them. Only time will tell. You guys have to stay tuned in for that.
Yeah, so the question is this another Lanka Lions Nautilus kind of thing, you know, where they're kind of experimenting with Kai'Sa jungle, or is this something, I mean, like you said, in the past they probably use it, and like you said, if you are a good jungler, you can make anything work, right? And that's why
I mean, I feel like Red is not a team to try and experiment, so I feel like they're just in this all-in zone, they just, you know, don't care. But in terms of, you know, looking at Lanka Lions, they're definitely skilled, you know, with the champions which they're playing right now. You know, Ash is on that Malzahar, very signature pick for him, and, you know, Nightmare on that Kai'Sa, so they're very comfortable with the picks which they have right now. So both teams are, I mean, they're just all in right now.
Yeah, they're all in. I mean, 100% this game has to be all in. They're going to play it super dead serious, even with the Kai'Sa jungle, which kind of blew my head. I think, you know, luckily, you know, there was a little bit of time where it gave us to kind of recover, or, you know, luckily they weren't showing our reactions when that got picked up.
Because I saw like the Kai'Sa coming down as ADC. I was like, okay, Kai'Sa ADC, and then I saw Syndra jungle. I was like, what? Syndra jungle? What am I seeing right now? And then luckily the switch came. Again. So we're in for a treat right now. It's going to be the final game of the losers bracket for GCLL between PnX Lanka Lions and PnX Red.
Yeah, so once again, you know, other big thing is PnX Lanka Lions are going to be fighting. They're going to be defending their title. Will they get the chance? The question is, PnX Red going to give them the chance? But anyway, with that, once again, guys, you know, huge shout out to our sponsors. We are here early morning at 1 o'clock. I mean, I mean, it's basically early morning, right? It's the very next day. So basically, we've been casting for 2 days, technically, if you think about it. But anyway, amazing stuff right there. You know, Freemi, the online digital banking partner. No need to carry around cash with you. So much safety coming in. Easy transactions through your phone. You can even get a debit card delivered to you if you want, or you can just use the online debit card that's already on your phone. So super easy, super convenient, and with great cashback offers. And with that, we have PNS. Obviously, at this point, Shara, if we go to an PNS, we can grab a nice iced coffee and kind of refresh ourselves. But unfortunately, we have, actually not even unfortunately, fortunately, we have a very hype game number 3 to cast. So once we are done with that, we might actually go to PNS and maybe grab ourselves a little bit of a iced coffee, and they'll be like, what are you guys mad to come at 2 o'clock in the morning? And then with that, we have, you know, our laptop sponsors, MSI, who are here. They brought in some amazing gaming peripherals, as well as a very world-renowned brand as well, with some amazing laptops, gaming laptops for all you gamers who are moving around, traveling, and, you know, just want to have that ease of access to play anywhere on the go. Super easy. MSI is the way you want to go. So with that, we are just waiting to get on for game number 3. I want to see how this Syndra is going to perform in this bot lane. I want it to blow my mind.
I mean, definitely looking forward to it, and it's something, you know, which I don't think any team has pulled this off, because, you know, all teams have played like full-on ADCs, and it's the first time I'm seeing something like, you know, PnX Red bringing in that mage towards the bot side. So, I mean, hopefully I'm excited to see something, you know, really good, because one of the reasons is that, you know, Syndra could also burst, you know, someone like the Ezreal down with her ultimate as well, you know, so she can definitely make quick use of her ultimate right there. And they've got, as an ADC, they've got the Kai'Sa jungle, so they always have, you know, like an AD carry who can just, you know, stay in the back and try and do his thing in the back line.
Yeah, definitely. And the best part is, the Syndra doesn't even need to do anything, because the Leona is there to set up the stuns. So it's literally going to be Leona goes in, stuns, follow-up stun from Leona, then you have the stun coming in from the Syndra, then you have the toss coming in for insane amounts of damage.
That's a lot of CC right
and
there.
then you still have the Leona ulti, and then you have the Syndra ulti.
That's nasty.
Whoever gets caught is dead.
That's nasty right there.
Yeah, I mean that it sounds like a nightmare, right? When you're just talking about it as well. So top lane, it's going to be once again, it's going to be Sion taking on Illaoi, which is going to be a very interesting matchup that I'm going to be very interesting, me being a top laner myself. So usually Illaoi, very dangerous. You don't want to mess with him, especially in the early game. I mean, most Illaois will play very safe until they hit level 6 because that's when they get that insane damage. Especially if they do connect with that E, if they manage to grab you with that, grab your soul with a tentacle. Weirdly enough, I don't know how else to say that, but if he does that, he can actually do a decent amount of damage.
I'm just getting some images in my mind, but let's not go there. Let's not go there.
So then obviously, but if the Sion can poke the Illaoi down using, where he just flings a minion at you, which is super annoying, it's like, here, catch the minion. And then, suddenly you're like, what's happening? And you're slowed. And then, he comes charging at you all the way from base using his ultimate. I mean, there's some interesting stuff that you can always pull off with him. Mid lane is going to be the matchup to see. Obviously, Ashe on one of his signature champions. Yeah. And I don't think by any chance Kasa is going to give him an easy time at all. I think, just having that Ari. So he played really well in the initial game as well. So the second game is probably going to have to maybe trade a little bit more better than he did in game number 2. But game number 2 he was feeling confident because it was a Nautilus mid, and he was, he knew that if they played it safe, they always outscale the team outside of Lanka Lions. Yeah. But in this game, both teams actually scale quite well in each lane. Actually, the Malzahar does quite well in the mid lane, especially if he gets a few more items. He can always lock you down with his ultimate, and you can't do anything to react. So it's really get control. Even so, even in a situation where we had Red, picking up the Ezreal for themselves, if the Malzahar gets on top of the Ezreal, he's just going to die because you're just literally rooted there for the duration of his ult. So you need to be super careful.
And I feel like, for the side of Lanka Lions, them picking up the Sejuani, A-Slot is actually someone who's very good with the Sejuani, so it's a very comfortable pick right there for him. So it will look pretty good for him. So going into this matchup.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Sejuani is once again one of those champions who have some very interesting mechanics where if you hit the champion a certain amount of time, he freezes. His ultimate freezes him in spot, giving time to kind of position yourself around him. He has a decent amount of mobility as well to kind of wall hop in certain places, and he's very efficient in the jungle as well because he's not like any other one. But there are a few other junglers who are super efficient, but Sejuani is someone who can always rotate during that early stage of the game, during the mid stages of the game, during the late stages of the game. He actually scales decently well as well in terms of a jungler. So you can always put a team on your back and kind of try to turn the game around with the Sejuani, especially with the clutch ultimate. You can always turn the game around at any point in the game, and that's that's the kind of champion you want someone like A-Slot playing, because he's someone who has showed a lot of promise and is doing great as a jungler, and that's why you can see so much respect coming out for him, and taking out a decent amount of junglers that he plays as well. Nocturne being taken out, then we saw the Echo always banned in every single game that he's played, so he doesn't these are, even with these champions being banned out, he still has such a huge repertoire of champions, which is great to see. And then all these players actually do have but then to be able to pull out a Kai'Sa jungle, I mean, just...
So the big question right now is who do you think is going to take this victory?
So I think
moving to the finals.
So in terms of Kai'Sa jungle, I feel it's weak, because Kai'Sa is not someone who can really rotate and put pressure onto any other lane. She's like someone who wants to sit in the jungle. I'm talking as a jungler, right? So you want to sit in the jungle, try to hit level 6 as soon as possible, then you can use the ultimate to kind of position yourself for those ganks, and especially if you go in the bot lane where all the setup is there for you. But if PnX Lanka Lions have a really great start in the early game and they can snowball off that, I feel like they can end the game within 15 minutes given the composition that they're running with the side of PnX Red. But if the game goes any further than 30 minutes, I feel like PnX Red will have a huge advantage just because they have so many champions who scale so well into the late game.
And honestly, my opinion is that I really want this PnX Red team to try and pull this victory, because just to see a Syndra bot lane, a Kai'Sa jungle pull this victory is just like Such a good thought right there.
It's like, we thought that the Nautilus would work out in that initial game, and it looked good at the start of the game. So in this one as well, I mean, right now you and me are both a little bit skeptical about how it's going to work.
Yeah.
So if it works, right? But if it doesn't work, then you're giving away game number 3 in a situation where maybe you could have won it if you picked up a separate jungler who could put pressure on the map. But I mean, they obviously know what they're doing. They know exactly how things are going to be working out. So. So with that, we just have to kind of wait and see how things work out.
Yeah.
So, okay. So looks like there is a little bit of
technical difficulty.
Difficulty. So in the sense where they will be remaking the lobby. So I feel like maybe that what was I going to say? Maybe the Kai'Sa pick might have been due to some sort of a technical difficulty.
I hope not.
So maybe our mind-blowingness and all these compliments we've been dishing out were for
nothing. No, let's not do that. Let's hope that it's just a remake, which is just gonna happen, and the same, composition is just gonna go through towards that final game as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be super interesting to see whether they're going to remain with the same picks, because technically, according to how things work, so especially when it comes to Dota, if you make a mistake during the drafting stage, you have to stick to that. You can't change it. There is no, oh, I picked the wrong person.
I think that's a good rule. Yeah.
So I don't know how it works in terms of League of Legends, but usually
we can excuse the player, on and off there. So I mean, we're more, how do you say?
Lenient?
Forgiving.
Yes,
forgiving.
Forgiving is a much nicer word than lenient. It feels like, it's like, you guys are anyway, I mean, it's very, like, to be honest, I mean, I played both games, and I really like both games as well. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't be here sitting with you and, casting the game, because each game has its own unique aspects, right? I mean, certain games can be more complicated, but it comes down to how you enjoy the game, right? And if people enjoy playing League because of its simple, or, even though they say simple mechanics, like when you compare it to Dota, but even then, it's not actually simple. It's actually quite difficult. Learning fast Q combos. If I tell you, how many people are going from Dota is going to guess what a fast Q combo is? Because there's nothing like that in Dota at all. There's nothing that gives you the ability to use an ability to increase your attack speed or to cancel that attack animation. Then the movements coming in, the outplays that have to happen, the importance of being able to win your lane, every single thing. Because in Dota you have such a great, especially when you have a lot of CC, right? You can always turn around the game and come back. But in League of Legends, when there is a comeback, it's just so magical because it's not easy to do. It's so difficult to do that in League, and if you can pull it off, you have to be really great players and you have to understand the game really well, or you have to punish your opponent's mistakes. So I feel like each game has its respective nuances that make the game amazing, and that's what I love about both games, and that's why I enjoy playing both games, right? And I actually fell in, so I actually have a huge attraction to League because of a streamer called BoxBox.
Okay.
So BoxBox and two actually. So BoxBox and Adrian Riven. So both of them were, at that time they were only playing Riven, right? And I just like this character is amazing. It looks really fun. And then I got into the game. I started playing, and then I was like, I'm only going to play this champion. And from there I've just been like playing.
You've been sticking with Riven ever since then.
Yes. I mean, I've tried out a few other champions because the game kind of forces you to. But other than that, Riven is just my favorite, and the way the mechanics work.
Like when someone picks up Riven and then you're like, I can't play Riven anymore.
I mean, you let, like, okay, so say you like literally have to talk for the next 40 minutes and we have to only talk about Riven. I'm down. Like,
that's a lot of Riven to talk about right there.
I mean, there's so many things you can talk about, especially with how flexible her build is. The new mobility. Now you can the max E is viable again. So before the shield, the E actually got nerfed. It used to be a thing where you don't actually max out your Q, you max out your E. So then you literally have it every 3 seconds.
Okay.
So you have a shield that blocks at least 300 to 350 damage every 3 seconds. So it's so easy to, because when you have Conqueror and you get enough hits, you obviously get that pure damage, you get that armor penetration, and if you get the kill, you get the heal as well. So the more hits you get in, the more damage you're going to do. And then at that time the Q was not that significant. It was more like for the control. And when you could obviously control yourself with the E and use it to time and dodge, like you could literally bully a Mundo. Like literally the only way, if you win your lane against Mundo, if you get the kill before, like if you get the kill on him during the laning stage, and you level up your E to a certain stage, he's going to stay really far away from you. So he's going to start last hitting with his axes, and you just shield it. And the Mundo is sad. Like every single axe he throws to CS, you just shield it. You bully him.
Yeah.
You bully him. But anyway, with that, there's so many amazing characters in League, and even now, the more I keep casting the game, the more it piques my interest. The more I learn about new heroes and how new champions and how they work as well. So sorry, I keep confusing. So the funny thing is, even during Dota, I call heroes champions, and when I'm casting League, I call champions heroes, and people get triggered for that because it actually triggers people's triggers a certain amount of people, right? So. But even then, League is just such a great game, and there's so many great mechanics to it that's unique only to itself, right? Sure, it doesn't have everything that another game has, but it has its own unique. How do you say it? It has its own unique characteristic. That's what makes the game great, and I think that's why there's such a huge fan base for the game as well.
And I think in terms of League versus Dota, League is simple. It's simple, and the graphics is also very pretty simple, and it just caters to a wider audience, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. So with that, Shera, so let's just recap again once again. Game number 1.
Yeah.
It actually looked quite good for PnX Red. I mean, even though the early game didn't go as
I think in the beginning, like Lanka Lions did. It was looking a bit good for Lanka Lions, and then Red came up. On this mid half of the game, and then then Lanka Lions just dominated the late game and just took that game all to themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there was that one mistake that was made. A little bit of there was a communication breakdown in game number 1 as well, especially with the TPs coming in. And mid lane we saw the Syndra really dominating. I mean, Ash was on his Syndra was landing every single stun onto the Morgana, and there's really nothing that the Morgana could do because she was. It's very difficult to kind of land that the stun coming in from the Q as well. She just constantly be able to poke out a little bit of damage using that E. But other than that, nothing really much that she could do in that game. But the Syndra was, really dominant in that game, and there were a few times where he got picked up, and with that we disappeared.
Yeah, I hope so.
And
we just popped back up.
Alright, so there seems to be a few technical difficulties with starting the lobby once again. So until all of that is sorted out, guys, so please stay tuned. We're going to take a very, very short break. So we'll be showcasing a few highlights from game number 1 as well as game number 2. So please do enjoy. We'll be back as soon as everything is resolved. So stay tuned. We still have an exciting game 3 ahead of us. Hi guys and welcome back to GCLL Season 4 where the lower bracket grand finals Game 3 was about to happen, but unfortunately me and Shira have to be the bearers of very bad news. So unfortunately one of the players from Lanka Lions had a very unfortunate technical difficulty where he does not have any power at home. So due to that reason, that game will be now awarded as a walkover to the side of PnX Red. I know just as much as you guys, even me as well as Shira, both were looking forward to game number 3. We were expecting it to be a very hype game, especially with the Syndra ADC and the Kaisa jungle. But unfortunately that is not going to happen. We have to wait for Red to take on NA FaZe in the grand finals. So congratulations to them. They'll be moving on to the grand finals of GCLL Season 4. So all the best to PnX Red in the match against NA FaZe. Really unfortunate, but that is going to be the sad news and how the ball rolls today. So thank you so much for all of you who actually stay tuned until this time. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, so thank you so much for joining with us here to watch some exciting League of Legends games. But don't worry, we'll be coming back with the League of Legends Grand Finals when it is.
It's going to be super exciting,
So I believe it will be happening sometime soon. So obviously we will update you guys on that when we can. And with that, obviously me and Shira will be ready to do the play-by-play with you guys, you know, to give more hype, action, and hopefully by then Shira's voice will be back. So, you know, we'll have hype, you know, super hype Shira. More hype Shira, even more, you know. So anyway, with that guys, thank you so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. So with that, we're going to be calling it quits for today. So thank you so much. That is going to be it from me and Shira. So we'll catch you guys during the grand finals of GCLL Season 4. This is me, Azman Dakro Khan, and Shira signing out. Good night.